All right. Well, good evening, fans. Welcome in here tonight on AudioSportsOnline.com. I'm Rob Kendall, along with Lex Zorn, coming to you tonight from Plainfield High School, where the Plainfield Quakers, with a record of 5-5, will take on Decatur Central, the Hawks, for the sectional championship tonight. We'll bring in Lex Zorn here momentarily. Before we do, let's thank our sponsors who made Plainfield football broadcasts possible all year long here on Audio Sports Online. They include CCB Contracting, Geodis, Gannell Financial, Julia Burbridge of Remax Centerstone Plainfield, Kyle Burnfield, Mortgage Lender at Flagstar Bank, Team Turley Fairway Mortgage, Bailey & Wood Financial Group, African Plum Home, My IT Indy at myitindy.com, I-70 Wrecker Service and Garage, BGW Construction LLC, The Beacon Sign Company, Jeff Brown Photography, Karen Alexander Photography, and Whitlow's Towing. Again, coming to you live tonight from Plainfield High School, and Brian Woodard and the Quakers have been 5-2 since an 0-3 start. That's significant because that's when they got the team back at full strength, and they look tonight for Brian Woodard's first sectional championship in his final year. Let's bring in Lex Zorn. And Lex, I think everybody is pulling, certainly in the Plainfield community, but I think across the Indiana high school football community, for Brian Woodard. He's been a great coach here at Plainfield, and he deserves that sectional championship.
Absolutely, he certainly does. You know, certainly one of the most underrated coaches here in Indiana high school football for a long time now, in his 17th and final season as a head coach. And, you know, I'm super excited to be here for the sectional championship game tonight. And I'll tell you, when I learned several months ago that this was going to be the farewell season for Coach Woodard, I hoped so much that he would finally win that elusive sectional championship. And at a lot of points this season, including a few times during last week's game at Harrison, it didn't look like that was going to happen. But here we are in tonight's sectional championship game. Coach Woodard has been here 6 times before and lost every time. And now in his 17th and final season, he has one more chance. And making it even more special is that we're up against our fiercest rival, the Decatur Central Hawks, who've eliminated us from the playoffs in 4 of the last 7 years, and against whom we finally ended a 13-game losing streak back in Week 6. Now, both of these teams had disappointing regular seasons in which they finished below 500, Plainfield at 4-5 and Decatur Central at 3-6. But the sectional championship will redeem the season for whoever wins tonight, especially as both of these programs have had notoriously bad luck in the playoffs over the years. Despite being above average programs for decades, Plainfield has won just one sectional championship, and Decatur Central has won just 2. Now, last week, Plainfield opened up the playoffs up in Tippecanoe County against the Harrison Raiders, who entered the game with a record of 8-1 and on an 8-game winning streak, and ranked number 5 in Class 5A. The two teams had already played there back in Week 2, with Harrison winning 22-14, and last week's game started off like it was going to be another Raiders victory. Plainfield fumbled the opening kickoff. Harrison recovered at the Plainfield 30, and then shortly afterward, Ben Henderson struck 10 yards to Nicholas Shrimp for a touchdown, opening up a 7-0 lead. But Plainfield fired back quickly with 2 touchdowns later in the quarter to take a 14-7 lead. A 48-yard touchdown pass from Hunter Newell to Grant Irwin, and then a 2-yard rush by Newell. Harrison tied it at 15 early in the second quarter with a 35-yard pass from Henderson to Brendan Gothrup, and that was the last score of the half. Now, at halftime, I guaranteed a Plainfield win if they committed no turnovers and gave up no third and longs in the second half, giving up third and longs being one of their Achilles heels on the season. However, on Harrison's first possession of the third quarter, on 3rd and 13, Carter Canoy ran in 68 yards for a touchdown, giving the Raiders a 21-14 lead. Plainfield tied it again late in the third quarter, this time on a 35-yard pass from Hunter Newell to Grant Irwin, and we went into the final quarter with a with the game tied up at 21. Then early in the fourth quarter, Plainfield gave up a 3rd and 9 on a 20-yard touchdown pass from Henderson to Gothrup, and that gave the Raiders a 28-21 lead. However, Plainfield again fired back in a hurry and actually outdid the 2 Raiders scores on 3rd and 13 and 3rd and 9. On 4th and 18 from the Harrison 39, Newell threw his 3rd touchdown pass to Irwin on the game, and that tied it at 28. Then on Harrison's ensuing possession, They advanced it to the Plainfield 49. It looked like we might be headed for overtime, but a fumble was returned by Harrison Herbeck, 49 yards to give the Quakers a 35-28 lead. And then on Harrison's ensuing possession, they fumbled again, and Plainfield ran out the rest of the clock from there. Now, so far this season, Plainfield has rushed 327 times and passed 230, a ratio of 1.4 to 1. Looking at the individual statistics, Hunter Newell has completed 138 of 226 passes for 1,688 yards, 14 touchdowns and only 9 interceptions. And keep in mind that in the last 7 games after that 0-3 start, Newell's only 2 interceptions both came on Hail Mary, so he's really gotten things under control. His leading receiver is senior Grant Irwin, who has 36 receptions for 567 yards and 7 touchdowns, 3 of the touchdowns coming last week from 48, 35, and 39 yards. Also, senior Noah Hessing has 30 receptions for 339 yards and 2 touchdowns. Junior Isaiah Miller has 27 receptions for 318 yards and 2 touchdowns. Junior Cale Vanderbush has 20 receptions for 207 yards and 1 touchdown. And then on the ground, senior Noah Hessing, who was exclusively a wide receiver prior to this season, has rushed 124 times for 673 yards and 7 touchdowns. Meanwhile, converted track and field star senior Troy Larison has 80 rushes for 421 yards and 1 touchdown. And senior Antonio Williams has 50 rushes for 246 yards and 4 touchdowns. Meanwhile, Hunter Newell has 66 carries. He has a net 0 yards because of some sacks, but he does have 7 rushing touchdowns. Meanwhile, Decatur Central has a nearly identical rush-pass ratio to Plainfield. The Hawks have rushed 327 times and passed 217, a ratio of 1.5 to 1. Decatur Central's starting quarterback is a freshman, Bo Polston, who's having, all things considered, a very good year. He's completed 104 of 200 passes. That's an even 52% for 1,455 yards, 14 touchdowns versus 7 interceptions, a 2-to-1 touchdown interception ratio. His leading receiver is senior Taquan Taylor, who has 36 receptions for 498 yards and 4 touchdowns. Meanwhile, junior K.J. Berry has 10 receptions for 229 yards and 3 touchdowns. Pharrell Carter, a freshman, has 18 receptions for 211 yards and 1 touchdown. And DeMond Coleman has 16 receptions for 200 yards and 1 touchdown. On the ground, junior K.C. Berry leads the way with 82 rushes for 647 yards and 2 touchdowns. Meanwhile, Jordan Cox, a senior, has 100 rushes for 390 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Polston, the quarterback, 87 rushes for 339 yards and 3 touchdowns. Head coach for Plainfield is Brian Woodard, who's 97 and 84 in his 17th and final season with the Quakers. Head coach for Decatur Central is Kyle Enright, who's 59 and 21 in his 7th season with the Hawks. Enright took over for Plainfield, and at that we will pause for the national anthem.
Performed by our pep band under the direction of Mr. Michael Carpenter.
That was our playing of the national anthem. Again, if you're just tuning in tonight, we're coming to you live from Plainfield High School. Rob Kendall along with Lex Zorn. The Plainfield Quakers taking on the Hawks of Decatur Central for your sectional championship tonight. Still got about 6 minutes and 30 seconds left on our pregame clock. No players out on the field as of yet. Lex, take it away.
Well, right now I'd like to just take a look at Decatur Central. A little more of an up-close look at what they've done this season. They enter the game with a record of 4-6. This is their first season in which the last time they did not have a winning season was 10 years ago when they went 5-5 under then head coach, now athletic director Justin Dixon, the one who instated the run and shoot offense here for Decatur Central. And now the Hawks are running onto the field. And we should get a nice road contingency here tonight because Decatur Central only 8 miles away from us on the southwest side of Indianapolis. But anyway, the Hawks now, unless they have a deep postseason run, they will have a losing record this year. They started off the season actually with a very good 26-12 win over Columbus North, a 6A team. However, then they had 2 bad losses, although both against marquee opponents, 49-0 to New Palestine, and then 28-7 to Whiteland, who is the likely opponent next week for whoever wins tonight. And, of course, Whiteland beat us 45-14 back in Week 8. Then the Hawks got a narrow win over Martinsville, 17-14 in Week 4. Then in Week 5, lost 18-17 to Mooresville. Then Week 6, that was their 34-32 overtime loss here at Plainfield, in which we finally ended a 13-game losing streak to the Hawks, 4 of those games having occurred in the playoffs. Then things started to get a little bit better. The Hawks got a win 52-12 against Greenwood in Week 7. However, then they lost a surprising upset to Perry Meridian 15-14, and now Plainfield coming onto the field to a very large ovation from their crowd. The Plainfield's only won 1 sectional in school history. Tonight, maybe it'll be the second.
Yeah, Plainfield wearing the home red jerseys tonight, white letters and numbers, gray pants, gray helmets. Decatur Central, they'll be the visitors on the scoreboard tonight. All white jerseys, gold letters and numbers, and blue helmets. Go ahead.
And then, so that dropped the surprising loss to Perry Meridian. Dropped Plainfield to, dropped Decatur Central to 3-5. And then in the regular season finale, they did play well on the road, but lost to Franklin 21-13. Granted, Franklin, a top 10 team in Class 5A, they beat us 45-14. And so that ended the regular season at 3-6 for the Hawks. However, they did get a solid home win last week, 31-13 over Lafayette McCutcheon. So they entered the game at 4-6, Plainfield at 5-5. And again, not the kind of regular season that either team hoped to have, but because of everything that, these are 2 teams that have just had notoriously bad luck in the playoffs over the years. With Plainfield, like I said, only 1 sectional championship in school history. That was in 2000 when they got all the way to the Class 4A state championship game. Decatur Central's won only 2 sectionals, the latter being in 2018 when they lost to the Class 5A state championship game 28-14 to New Palestine. So anyway, now we got the captains for both teams at the, I guess you could call it the Plainfield coat of arms there on the center of the field. And we will await the result of that.
And I think, obviously there's 2 things at play here tonight, Lex. We're getting ready to have the coin toss. Number 1, obviously, it's a sectional championship and an opportunity for Plainfield to get the first one in quite a while. But 2, it is, by the way, Decatur Central wins the toss. They will defer. Plainfield will get the ball to begin the football game. It is Brian Woodard's final season.
Yes.
Brian Woodard, for years and years and years, this is our 15th year covering Plainfield football, has had some really good teams, but it seemed like every year in their sectional, they ran into some powerhouse in their class. It was Roncalli for a while. It was Decatur Central for a while. It was Cathedral for a while. And this year, not to in any way belittle what any of these teams bring to the table, but there is not that clear-cut powerhouse and favorite like in years past. And if anybody deserves to go out a sectional champ, it is Brian Woodard.
Yes, this is in his 17th season. This is actually his 7th sectional championship game. Now, the first 4 of those came in his first 4 seasons. In 2006, Plainfield lost the sectional championship to Cathedral 35-7. By the way, that was the first loss of Coach Woodard's career. He won his first 11 games and then lost the sectional championship. Then in 2007, Plainfield lost the sectional championship to Westfield 14-7. In 2008, they lost the sectional championship to Zionsville 42-13. And then in 2009 to Cathedral again, this time 48-21. Then they did not reach the sectional championship again until 2014, a game that I had the pleasure of commentating. It was a very courageous performance in which Plainfield, after a 2-7 regular season, won their first 2 tournament games over Danville and Northview, and then lost to Roncalli only 24-7 after losing to the Rebels 27-3 during the regular season. And then in 2016, Plainfield lost the sectional championship to Zionsville, another game that I commentated.
All right, they are not messing around. They're going to get it started not only on time, but ahead of time here tonight. Decatur Central kick the ball away. Plainfield will receive the kick. They will move from left to right on your computer screen. Couple Quakers back deep to receive the kick. Number 16, Troy Larison back there. And I believe, he won't turn around yet, but we'll get you a number if he catches the ball. How about that? All right, here we go. Decatur Central tees it up, puts the right foot into it. It's a high end-over-end kick. It will be taken by Larison. Nope, he'll let it go into the end zone. And that will be a first down and 10 coming up for the Plainfield Quakers off the touchback. So pretty good crowd on the Plainfield side of things. Fans still kind of piling in again.
Yeah.
Pretty, as you alluded to, like pretty good crowd on the Decatur Central side of the ball too. And obviously Plainfield winning the first matchup between these two teams earlier this year. It is hard to beat teams that are pretty evenly matched. It's hard to beat a team twice in the same year. We'll see if they can do it. They'll be hard-pressed to top in any more exciting game than what they had earlier this season at Plainfield High School. So here we go. Plainfield on the field again in the home red jerseys, gray pants, gray helmets, white letters, and numbers. Number 6, Hunter Newell will take the shotgun snap to begin the football game.
Come on, boys, let's do it.
Newell out of the gun, snap, back to pass, steps up, going to run with it. He is across the 20, and that's where he'll be taken down right there, in fact, right at the 20. So no gain, shoestring tackle that time, pocket collapsing quickly, and it'll bring up 2nd and 10.
Well, disappointing start. You know, I was glad to see Plainfield get the ball first, and I'm really hoping they'll start off with a score to establish some momentum here. But, you know, it's only 2nd down, so shake it off, boys.
2nd and long coming up. 1 receiver to the left, 2 men to the right. Snap, give, straight ahead, runs into a host of tacklers. Not much doing, about 1.5 yards, maybe 2 yards on the play that time. It was number... Come on, turn around. Number 2 that time.
Hessing.
Noah Hessung with the run. And it'll bring up 3rd down and 8. 11:05 left to go in the first quarter. 3 receivers going to go wide to the right for Plainfield, the near side of the field.
I hate going 3rd and long on our first possession.
Newell working out of the gun.
A conversion here would be huge.
Snap, back to pass, steps up, throws, got it. Oh, it's ball nearly picked off.
Oh, man,
boy,
that was a close one.
In and out of the hands of number 13, Tyus Braden, and he would have been in for the score if he'd have been able to hang on to it. Fortunately for Plainfield, it fell incomplete. Not a good start for Plainfield. They'll punt it away.
Yeah, so, you know, that certainly is a sharp contrast to our game a couple of weeks ago, or 6 weeks ago, where we started off with that red-hot 14-0 lead before, you know, struggling for much of the 2nd and 3rd quarters and then finishing strong to get the win.
All right, snap is good, kick is low, it'll hit, it'll squib.
It's taking a Decatur Central bounce, we better get it.
And they'll down it at the 40-yard line of Plainfield. So not a good start for the Quakers. 3 and out and then a bad punt. And Decatur Central will take over 1st down and 10 from the Plainfield 40.
Well, if there's any consolation, it's not quite as bad as our start to last week's game where we fumbled the opening kickoff and then Harrison quickly converted it into a touchdown that made me fear that it was going to be, you know, the end of Coach Woodard's career, but we did come back and recover for a 35-28 win.
So Rob Kendall along with Lex Zorn coming your way tonight from Plainfield High School. No score. Decatur Central with the ball. 1st and 10 from the Plainfield 41.
Wow, 5 receivers, no running backs for the first play. Aggressive formation for the Hawks.
3 to the left, 2 to the right. Work it out of the shotgun. Snap. back to pass, steps up, going deep. He's got a man, and it is caught, and it is a touchdown.
Oh,
Touchdown
my God.
number, I believe that was number 10, and that was Amari Graves with the touchdown, and Plainfield down 6-0, 10:30 left to go in the first quarter.
Oh my God, that is concerning. But that's about how quickly Harrison scored first on us last week, and that game had a happy ending. And hopefully, history will repeat itself today. But that is not a good start. Kicker for Decatur Central is Ashton Vogel. He's 21 of 25 on extra points for the season.
Snap, spot, kick is up, and the kick is good. So Decatur Central leads it now 7-0, 10:30 left to go in the first quarter.
Well, Plainfield, has done some of its best work on the season when they've been down. Now they're down. They were, for much of the game at Harrison last week. They came back with an incredibly courageous win. Hopefully, history will repeat itself tonight. Hopefully, this will not be Coach Woodard's final game. The winner of this game will play the winner of the Franklin-Whiteland game, most likely Whiteland, but Franklin's a top 10 team. I certainly would give them a chance. So anyway, Bo Polston, the freshman quarterback for the Hawks, he passed for 378 yards in the loss to us back in Week 6. He looks like he's going to be the latest in a long line of superstar offensive juggernauts for the Hawks. Among them, Tommy Stevens, who was a senior on the 2014 team, went on to play with the Carolina Panthers in 2019.
So Plainfield will get it again. And here we go. High end over end kick. It'll sail into the end zone. And once again, it'll be first down and 10 coming up for Plainfield. We talked with Brian Woodard about this on the coaches show. Plainfield just looked flat again. And we talked about this, not only are you playing for a sectional championship, but it could be your coach's last game. And it just looked like, once again, they came out kind of flat here tonight.
Yep. Yeah, well, they did. And I don't know, maybe it's, some sort of emotional letdown after the Harrison game. I don't know. I'm not a sports psychologist, but it's certainly an interesting question to ask. Now Plainfield on their second offensive possession. Hopefully they'll get it together.
Snap, give, ahead, big hole, room to run. He's
All right.
across the 30. He's to the 35, still going.
All
First
right.
down, Plainfield. Number 2 that time, Noah Hessung on the run, and they'll put it at the 36-yard line, 1st and 10 for Plainfield.
All right, it's a much better, start than. Well, hold that thought.
2 receivers wide to the right, 1 man to the left. Plainfield working out of the no huddle. Man goes in motion from right to left. Snap, nearly fumbled, gives it straight ahead, driving forward, gain of about 3 or 4. That could have been a disaster as Hunter Newell had trouble balancing or grabbing rather the snap. Was able to get it to the running back, and I believe that was Hessung again with a run of about 2.5 yards.
So Hessling, 3 for 20. He's been the go-to guy for most of the season.
Again, working out of the gun. Snap, give, straight ahead, drives forward, not much doing, up to about the 39-yard line. So now another 3rd and long coming up for Plainfield. 2 runs with not much success. 3rd and 7, 9:30 left to go in the first quarter.
Well, we've been 3rd and long on our first 2 possessions. Last time on 3rd down, there was a near interception that very well might have been returned for a touchdown. We were lucky it was a dropped pass. We got to get something here. We don't want to give Decatur Central a chance to take a 2-possession lead.
Out of the gun, snap, pass, caught in the flat, room to run, tripped up as he gets to the 40-yard line, and not much more. Noah Hessung on the catch that time. Open field tackle made on the play by number 3, that's Chris Hill, and Plainfield will have to send the punt team on.
Well, now the pressure is going to be cranked up on the Plainfield defense, who did come through when it counted most last week, especially on that 49-yard fumble recovery for a touchdown by Harrison Herbeck that gave us the lead in the 4th quarter. In fact, that was the last score of the game. And then we recovered a fumble on Harrison's ensuing possession to put the game away.
Gets the kick away again.
It's
Not a
partly
very good
blocked.
kick, and it'll hit, and it'll bounce forward at least this time into Decatur Central territory. But man, I mean, if that's all they're able to kick the ball, you might as well go for it. A punt of about 15 yards, and it'll be 1st and 10, maybe not even 15, about 13 yards. It'll be 1st and 10 at the Decatur Central 47. That's not good. 2 punts in a row that have just gone almost nowhere. The wind is not that bad.
Well,
is it?
that one was partly blocked, but yeah, but the Decatur Central was really coming at it.
So 1st down and 10 for Decatur Central. Snap, give, quarterback keeper, and that's got nowhere to go. Great job that time by Plainfield, staying home. No gain on the play as the quarterback, number 12, Bo Polston, the freshman, pushed out of bounds. Loss of about 3 yards on the play, maybe 4 yards all the way back to the 44.
That's good. Polston is actually the 3rd leading rusher on the team, too. They got him for -3 there.
So nice job that time by Plainfield, staying at home, not biting on that fake on the run, and they were able to push him out of bounds. So 2nd down coming up, 2 receivers going way wide to the right side, 1 man in tight left, single back in the backfield. Snap, Polston back to pass, throws, got a man caught at midfield. He spins forward, gets the corner, room to run. He's down the sidelines and finally taken down inside the 40-yard line. I know Decatur Central's fast, but there was nowhere near him, and that was about a 5-yard route. You got to get up on him.
Did you catch who the receiver was?
Now, it was on the far side of the field, and these gold numbers on white jerseys are, well, as you know, Lek, that's not helpful.
I know. Yep.
So 2nd down, or a 1st down and 10 rather, coming up, ball all the way down to the 27. Out of the gun, 2 receivers to the right, 1 man to the left. Snap, quarterback fake, rolling to the right side, rolling, throwing on the run. It is tipped away, incomplete on the far side of the field. I believe that was number 20, is it 25 that got in there? Somebody got a hand on it, maybe 15. Nice job on the far side of the field by the Plainfield defender. That may have been number 15, Alex Holsclaw, getting in there to knock it away out of bounds as the pass was thrown towards the sideline. 2nd down and 10 coming up for the Hawks. Plainfield with that 3-man front.
Now keep in mind Vogel's long field goal this year is 45, so they are in his range already.
Snap, there's the give. They'll flush him to the far side of the field, and he'll turn the corner and be taken down inside the 20, very close to a 1st down. Looks like they are going to say 1st down, so he did pick up 10 yards, and right there we said on that first run, good job of staying home. Nobody home that time, and able to pick up the 1st down for the Hawks.
Very, very concerning start for the Quakers. They do not want to go down 2 possessions. They did come back from a 2-possession 4th quarter deficit at Martinsville to get a win in the regular season finale.
Somebody needs to make a play here on defense, and big 66 Strange there. Christopher Strange might have to be that guy lined up over the nose.
We got to have a big play, yeah.
Out of the gun, snap, give, straight ahead center of the field, breaks out of 1 tackle, and then a host of Quakers coming in. Nice job that time, Holsclaw getting him near the line of scrimmage, grabbing him by the ankle. No gain on the play. 2nd down and 10 coming up. So 2nd out of 10, 7:40 left to go in the 1st quarter. Decatur Central leads at 7-0, and they're knocking on the door again down at the Plainfield 17.
Yes, indeed. We gotta make a stop here. Got to make a big play. And keep in mind, like I said, they're in field goal range already. Their kicker Ashton Vogel is hit from 45. This would be a 34 from here.
Out of the gun, Polston. No, I don't think that's Polston. Is that somebody else in there?
Yeah,
nearly fumbled the snap, gets it back up. He's got room to run, and now hits a host of Plainfield defenders. Strange amongst others in there. That didn't look like Polston. I don't think it was. It was number 11 at quarterback that time that they snuck in there.
Amari Graves.
No,
Farai
Carter. Now,
Carter,
we apologize on these names. The print on this Decatur Central roster is about one type.
Yeah.
One font. So we're trying our best to get those names there. And it'll bring up 3rd down and 10 with 6:40 left to go in the 1st quarter. Plainfield man, what a moral victory here if you could get them off the field without a touchdown.
And giving up third and longs has been our Achilles heel all season. We got to make a stop here.
Again, with the substitute quarterback pitch, he'll cut it back, runs into a host of Quakers, and I don't know if that gain of about 2 yards on the play, but the bigger story here is Polston was out of the ball game on both of those second and third down attempts. I don't know if he was injured or what's going on.
Boy.
But Decatur Central, there's no reason on a third and long you would be running a wildcat formation.
Not
really
likely.
No reason on a second and long. So I don't know if something happened there or what, but regardless, a field goal attempt, it'll be a 31-yarder, center of the field.
And he's hit from 45 on the year, 4 of 6.
Snap, spot, kick is up, and the kick is, that's no good. No, it is good, boy. That looked like it was wide to the right, but obviously the officials were right under the arch there and said it went through. And so 10-0 the score, 5:43 left to go in the, they had a little conference there. I'm not sure they were so sure that was good either, because that was close. But 10-0, 5:43 left to go. Now that's going to be super interesting. Let's keep an eye on that, because Polston, unless they just for some reason said we're going to run the Wildcat the rest of the inside the 20, but on a third and long, you wouldn't think there'd be much of a reason to run a Wildcat.
Yeah, I the first time they did it, I just thought it was a trick play, a direct snap to a running back. You see that once in a while, especially in high school ball. But 2 plays in a row, you got to wonder if maybe he did suffer some kind of injury. I certainly hope not. But at the same time, I also know that in sports you just got to take whatever breaks you have, and if their starting quarterback is out of the game, we better take advantage of it.
Yeah, so we'll try to figure out if we can get some sort of update or whatever on what's going on there. In the meantime, though, it's 10-0, so not a good start for the Quakers. Only 1 first down through 2 possessions. Line drive kick. It'll go into the end zone over the head of number 5, Harrison Herbeck, and it'll bring up first down and 10 for Plainfield.
Harrison Herbeck with the game-winning fumble recovery touchdown last week in that thrilling win up at Harrison. And certainly, that's increased his college stock. In fact, tonight I saw much of the family of Grant Irwin out in the parking lot. We were pulling in to side-by-side parking lots at the same time, actually. And his dad told me that he's now been offered, he's gotten offers from Taylor University and Manchester University, hopefully.
And now all sorts of confusion out of the, boy, Brian Woodard is going to be upset about this. All sorts of confusion out of a timeout.
Yeah.
And he's going to have to call a timeout. Man, it's just, again, I guess flat is the word, but you would have thought with all that momentum coming out of last week, a home game, your coach's potentially chance to finally win that elusive sectional. Plainfield has not looked great early on. Let's see if they can right the ship here.
Yeah, and not only that, but it would be only the second sectional in school history. And, just a few years ago, I've commentated so many of these Plainfield Decatur Central games going back a full decade now. And I remember saying, this is before 2018, because I know at the time Decatur Central had only won 1 sectional in their school history. I said these have got to be the best 2 programs in the state with only 1 sectional championship. And then Decatur Central's won 2 now, but.
Plainfield fans showing up in mass tonight. Great crowd, as you'd expect. Decatur Central stands nearly full as well here from Plainfield High School. And now whatever they wanted to talk about, they're apparently ready to go. 3 receivers going to the left side of the field. Nobody to the right. 1 man in the backfield. Newell out of the gun. Snap. Give. Straight ahead. Big hole.
All right.
He's at the 30, 35, 40. Across midfield. 45, 40, 1 man to beat inside the 30, still going, drives ahead, stays on his feet, he's at the 10. Now they'll call him out at the 16, but what a run there by number 2, Noah Hessong, barreling inside the 20-yard line.
Noah Hessing, 22 rushes, 22 yards on his first 5 rushes. He got 60-some there. Let's see where they said he stepped out.
They're going to put him out inside the 20, down around the 17-yard line. So a great run that time, huge hole, and he was off to the races. So now 3 men will go wide to the left, nobody in the backfield.
63 yards on that play.
Man goes in motion, into round, and that
Oh,
was
no. Oh, no.
Troy Larison with not only no gain, but on that end around.
That's a loss.
Yeah, big loss that time of about 5 yards. Second down coming up for Plainfield.
Yeah, and Troy Larison, I've watched him. He has incredible speed. I mean, he is, like I said, a track and field star. This is his first season of varsity ball. Hold that thought.
Second down coming up now. And now, yeah, there's a give directly to Hessong, and he drives for it. So now the Quakers are in this Wildcat formation. As Hunter Newell was added as a receiver. So now you've got a third down and 12 as the snap was directly to Hessong that time.
Boy, it would be devastating if they do not get any points on this drive. Absolutely devastating. And we have not hit a field goal all season.
Yeah, third down and 13 coming up for Plainfield. Probably in two-down territory here, as you alluded to, Leck.
Oh, yeah, they'd go for it on fourth down, I'm sure, but, yeah.
And now...
Oh, my God, another timeout.
And now another timeout by Plainfield. 4:20 left to go in the first quarter. So Plainfield facing a third down and 13. And I just...
Boy.
Yeah, it's interesting because they have run the ball pretty well so far,
Yeah.
and then you kind of start trying to get cute with an end around and then this Wildcat snap. And so it'd be interesting to see the thinking there, because so far the best plays they've had, in fact the only successful plays they've had, is just running it right up the middle of the field.
Yeah, and Hunter Newell has only thrown one pass so far. Is that one on the first possession that was nearly intercepted?
So somebody needs to make a play here for Plainfield.
Yeah.
As it's a third down and 13. The ball's at the 20. They need to get to about the 7.
And that they've used two of their timeouts here in the first 8 minutes.
Yeah, both on offense, and both, really with the one was out of a possession change, which is going to drive Brian Woodard crazy, I'm sure. But here we go for a third down and 13 coming up. One man in the backfield, 2 men to the right, 2 men to the left. Snap, back to pass. Steps up. He's going to be hit, and he's going to be dropped. And it'll be a sack, and they're back at the 25. And now you got a big decision here to make, because that would be about a 42-yard field goal into the wind. I can't imagine they would try that. The wind is not overly strong. They're going to leave the offense on the field here. So
yeah, Grimes, he's been very good on his extra points, 26 of 30, but he's only attempted one field goal, a 25-yarder, and he missed it. So
yeah, and that wind, I mean, again, not that the wind is overly strong, but so it looked promising, but now a fourth and 19 coming up for Plainfield.
Well,
Three receivers to the left, one man in the backfield, and Decatur Central's coming, and now Decatur Central will burn a timeout.
Well, I'll tell you, Rob, if we do not get any points on this drive, then that will be absolutely devastating. After that 63-yard rush there by Noah Hessing. Hessing, a four-year starter. He started 3 years exclusively as wide receiver. Then he's a split time between wide receiver and running back this year. Troy Larison, our number 2 rusher, came in from the track and field team. He did play JV football 2 years ago. Last year did not play football at all. This year he's playing varsity ball, and he's so fast. I really believe had football been his number one sport all along, I think he would be an absolute monster by now.
Yeah, when you're that talented, it's a good problem to have. Which sport do I overly exceed at?
Yes.
So 3 men go wide to the left, 1 man to the right, 1 man in the backfield is the fullback, Brandon Hendry.
Come on, boys.
So let's see if they can pull something off here. Snap, back to pass, steps up. He's got all sorts of room, rolling left side, rolling, throws it up. It is caught on the far side of the field, but it is going to be well short of the first down. So it was caught, but all the way down at the 11. They needed the 7, and so Plainfield will turn it over. I guess the good news out of this is they flipped the field, and Decatur Central will get it down at their own 11-yard line.
Yeah,
Now let's pay attention here, Lek, because it's obviously hard for us to see as they're at the opposite end of where we are on the field. And let's see if Polston is back in there at quarterback.
Yes, definitely. By the way, that reception, by the way, was Cale Vanderbush.
Okay, so yeah, it does look like Polston's back in. So whatever that was an interesting set of play calls. Don't know if he was just momentarily injured or if that was by design, but Polston, the freshman quarterback, back in for Decatur Central. Snap, gives straight ahead, stutter step, big hole, and he is going to be caught from behind. A probably touchdown-saving tackle that time made by number 8 for Plainfield, Landon Drennan, but Decatur Central already out of trouble all the way up to the 26-yard line.
Yeah, Landon Drennan last week up at Harrison forced the fumble that was returned for the touchdown by Harrison Herbeck in the fourth quarter that gave the Quakers the lead for good.
Yeah, you know, it's very interesting, Lek, that first affair between these two teams seemed rather even throughout much of the ball game.
It was, yeah.
And Decatur Central just looks super dominant early here tonight. This is reminiscent of years gone by.
Yeah.
In games between Plainfield and Decatur Central. Snap, quarterback, keeper, and
yes,
he's going to be hit and
yes.
dropped in the backfield. They tried that little read option, and number 53 for Plainfield, Croy Teamer, got in there and made the big hit, big loss of about 5 yards that time.
Yeah, we got to. Well, they give him a better spot than I hoped. So it's,
Oh boy, yeah, they sure did,
yeah,
didn't they?
only -2, but nevertheless, you know, we just got to jump on this.
Now they have been very successful thus far through the air, and they will spread the field out this time.
Yeah, remember Polston got 378 yards against us last time in the overtime loss.
3 men going wide to the right, 1 man to the left, empty backfield. Quarterback keeper, it was a direct snap this time. Polston's not even in the game, and it's not going to go anywhere.
All right.
As that was number 22 that time, the direct
Barry.
snap. Yeah, Casey Barry.
Yeah,
as you
he's the
said.
leading rusher on the team.
So they are doing all sorts of. So I guess that's the answer to our question, whether Polston was hurt or not on that last set of plays. It appears they just are going to run those all game long, even in second and long situations.
Well, under Justin Dixon and then under Kyle Enright, Decatur Central's always been known for a very quirky offense, or, you know, you always refer to it as Tecmo Bowl.
Yes, Tecmo Bowl offense. 2 receivers wide to the right, 1 man to the left. Single man in the backfield. Snap, back to pass, steps up, throws to the far side of the field. It is
Caught.
Where at? No, out of bounds.
All right.
They ruled him out of bounds, no catch.
All right.
And so Plainfield, good break that time. It looked like he came down with the ball, but they ruled him out of bounds, and it will be 4th down, and it looks like Decatur Central is going to send the punt team on.
Yeah, so that's good. So it's the first time that Decatur Central has not scored points on a drive in this game, so that'll hopefully give the defense some confidence. Or are they going to go for it? Oh, my God. That would be crazy.
Well, they sent the offense out, or what resembled an offense, and then they called timeout.
Maybe trying to draw Plainfield offsides. But, yeah, Rob, I think this is my 118th varsity game, and I think this has got to be the first time when there have been 4 timeouts used in the first quarter. That's incredible. So... Anyway, wild and woolly start to this game. Plainfield is down 10-0, but keep in mind they trailed by 10 points going into the fourth quarter at Martinsville. In Week 9, they came back to win and carried that momentum into last week's playoff win up at Harrison. So this is not over by any stretch of the imagination. We just need some stops. We need to sustain a drive. On the last drive, Noah Hessen got a 63-yard rush from our 20 to their 17, then we stalled. And Rob, obviously you and I, neither one of us were very pleased with the play calling after they got that 63-yard rush.
So it does look like they will punt away now as punter for Decatur Central stand back at his own 15. The kick is away. It's a clean kick. It's a good kick, spiraling kick. It will hit, and
oh, no.
He let it go, and it is going to roll deep into Plainfield territory.
Oh, my God.
For some reason, number 16, Troy Larison, decided not to fair catch the ball.
A 59-yard punt.
Yeah, it is all the way inside the 15 down to about the 12. So Decatur Central literally from where they started the drive, flips the field the exact opposite way. They started at their own 11. Plainfield will get the ball back. That's the good thing. But they're getting it all the way back at their own 12-yard line. So a long way to go.
All right. Well, we need a big play here. Yeah, that took probably at least a 20-yard Decatur Central bounce after it hit the ground. I mean, that was a crazy bounce. So now three receivers out to the right, one running back. 58.5 seconds to go. Plainfield down 10-0.
Delayed handoff. Hessling breaks a tackle. He's got a little room. Gets to the near side of the field and taken down after getting back to the initial line of scrimmage. I'll tell you what, Leck, they are getting blown off the ball at the line of scrimmage. Now, they've had a couple big runs, but it's just gaps people weren't in.
We just got to get something going here. 2nd and 10 now, 37 seconds and counting to go in the first quarter. Decatur Central 10, Plainfield 0. Quakers with the ball, 2nd and 10 at their own 12. Both teams have already used 2 timeouts. It's been a crazy start to this game. And now Hessling gets a little bit of a hold, only gets about 3 or 4, and that will likely end the quarter. So not very adventurous play calling. Maybe they, think if they keep giving the ball to Hessling, he's going to get another big breakthrough. But anyway, at 3, 2, 1. So after 1 quarter of play here at Plainfield, your score, Decatur Central 10, Plainfield 0 here in the sectional championship game. When we resume play in the second quarter, Plainfield will have the ball 3rd and 6 at their own 16.
All right, let's thank the sponsors who have made our broadcast possible all year long. They include CCB Contracting, Geodis, Gunnell Financial, Julia Burbridge of Remax Centerstone Plainfield, Kyle Burnfield Mortgage Lender, Flagstar Bank, Team Turley Fairway Mortgage, Bailey and Wood Financial Group, African Plum Home, My IT Indy at myitindy.com, I-70 Wrecker Service and Garage, BGW Construction LLC, Beacon Sign Company, Jeff Brown Photography, Karen Alexander Photography, and Whitlow's Towing. Again, if you're just tuning in, it was all Decatur Central first quarter. They lead it 10-0. The good news is it could have been a lot worse. Decatur Central had the ball in the red zone, was only able to kick a field goal, and then last time Plainfield was able to get them off the field with the punt, and Plainfield will have the ball 3rd down and 6 when we resume play. Plainfield now will move from right to left. And the good news for Plainfield is that it is now downwind for them. So that is a good break for Plainfield as we flip the field. Here we go.
3rd
Snap,
and 6.
give, straight ahead. Bidge barrels ahead, very close.
I think he's got the first.
That's close. No signal yet. No signal yet. There's the signal. There we go. First down for Plainfield.
So the Quakers moved the chains for only the 2nd time tonight. 11:53 to go here in the second quarter, already trailing 10-0 here in the sectional championship game. The winner to play the winner of the Franklin-Whiteland game next week in the regional. That was a 5-yard pickup there by Hessling. He's 10 for 96 by my count.
Snap, give, straight ahead. Short gain that time. No gain that time. And look, I know 10 points seems like a lot, but so far for Plainfield, the run has by far, and runs right up the middle specifically, have been your most effective play, and it uses a lot of clock, which keeps the Decatur Central offense off the field.
Yeah, we just have to convert it into some points now. That's the one thing that we've been lacking tonight. And it's certainly disheartening that we did not score after that 63-yard rush by Hessling on the last possession. So now Newell takes it, rolls to his left.
Rolling. Newell holding onto the ball, and
come
he's going
on.
to be sacked, and he is going to go down way back at the 11-yard line. And, man, he had several opportunities to get rid of that ball that time, and he just, for some reason, held on to it. And it's going to result in a big loss all the way back to the 12. So all that gain erased. Plainfield basically starting now on 3rd down where they started the entire drive. And given their issues with punting already, they really need to try to get some yardage here to at least flip this field a little bit.
And we've only thrown 2 passes all game. So yeah, 2 receivers to each side now. We got to get something going here.
Yeah, and again, the bigger issue is trying to get some of this yardage to be able to move the field a little bit off this punt. Now, again, they will have the wind at their back. Snap, back to pass. Steps up, has time. Now we're going to take off with it, and he will break one tackle, but not a second, and he's up near the 15, so a gain of about 3 yards. But that's about it, and the Plainfield punt team will come on. 9:55 left to go in the first half. It is a 10-0 Decatur Central lead. They're about to get the ball back. Now again, punting downwind for the first time tonight is number 96, Tyler Blake.
Well, both of our punts have been weak. One of them was slightly blocked. It looked like a guy got his fingertips on it and changed the trajectory. Hopefully we'll get a good punt off here.
So here we go, standing back at his own 2-yard line is Blake. Snap.
Oh, they're going for the block.
Got it away. It's a much better kick. It'll hit at the 50.
All right.
It'll bounce into Decatur Central territory. Still rolling, still going, and it'll be down at the 39. So a much better kick that time. The wind obviously helping, and Plainfield defense will come back onto the field.
So a 46-yard punt there. I think, that's pretty sure it's longer than the first two combined. So now Decatur Central takes over at their own 39. Decatur Central advanced to the Class 5A championship game back in 2018, lost to New Palestine 28-14. The winner of this game is not likely to reach the state championship game this year, but after losing records, certainly a sectional championship, especially as scarce as sectional championships have been for both schools, would be sweet.
Snap. Quarterback keeper, straight ahead, big hole, and he's off to the races, breaks one tackle, breaks another inside the 40, still going down to the 35. It was a direct snap that time to number 11, Carter, and it'll bring up a first down and 10 at the 36-yard line of Plainfield. Huge gain on first down.
Yeah, things very concerning now. We got to get a stop here. Now, the last two possessions for Decatur Central, a field goal and a punt. So, the defense has made some stops, but they really got to step it up here.
8:44 left to go in the first half. It's 10-0 Decatur Central with the lead and the ball moving from left to right. Out of the gun, again a direct snap to the running back, and he is hit that time, and he is going nowhere.
All right.
Number 63 for Plainfield getting in there. Seth Martin on the tackle. And a loss of about yard and a half on first down.
All right, that's good. Hopefully we can force them into doing some things, that they're not comfortable doing. Plainfield's, one of their biggest weaknesses this year has been getting teams off the field. Hopefully we'll do that here. Now 2 receivers to each side, now 1 running back, quarterback and shotgun.
Snap, back to pass, throws, got a man caught on the near side of the field, tries to spin out of a tackle, does not. The gain is for about 5 yards. It's down to the 32-ish. Depends on the spot. It'll bring up third down in about 5.
Yeah, we better do something big here. This is a very critical third down for our defense, although I'd imagine that Decatur Central is in four down territory.
Yeah, the wind is in their face, so even though the punter right now would be about a 49-yard field goal with the wind being in your face, they're probably not going to try that. Out of the gun as it's the snap. Thought about throwing a screen, now does, and they're going to need somebody to close, and he hits him, and he's very close to a first down. No, he's going to be swatted all the way back at the 30, so he's about 3 yards short. Nice job on the close that time by Plainfield. I thought he was going to get a better spot than what he did. They'll put him at the 29. They need the 26. So a 4th down and 3 with 7 minutes left to go in the first half. Coming up for Decatur Central, a huge possession in the ball game for the Plainfield defense.
So, yeah, if we can get this stop here, that would be great. And it would be 3 consecutive, possessions for Decatur Central in which they've come away with a total 3 points. So certainly that might give, our offense some, our defense some, boost of confidence.
And Decatur Central, I think, is going to let this clock wind down and call a timeout. They are. And so a timeout with 6:24 to go, fourth down and 3 coming up for Decatur Central.
So they're already out of timeouts, so that could be very important if they have the ball late in the half and they're trying to get a late score. So that's certainly a game changer potentially. But I'll tell you, like you mentioned, Rob, it can be tough to beat the same team twice in a season. And of course, Harrison found that out the hard way. They beat us back in week 2 by a score of 22-14 up at their place, and then we returned there just 9 weeks later, and we get a win. I'll tell you the example I always use the most is when we were commentating Cascade basketball, that awesome girls team back in 2016-2017, where they got a 22-point win at South Putnam in the middle of the regular season, then just got absolutely dominated and lost by 11 on Cascade's home court in the sectional to the same team that we beat by 22. So that was a 33-point turnaround. And I think what happens is when you beat a team, you think you can do them again, you go into the same game plan. But if a team beats you, you look at the game tape and you figure out, okay, why did they beat us? What can we do differently?
If you are an end here, you've got to be thinking about staying at home. Number 3 now in at quarterback. Chris Hill will take a direct snap. You've got to stay at home here. Do not let him get to the outside. Hill will take the snap directly. Man goes in motion from left to right. Play action. Rolling out. Hill rolling. He's going to throw, and it is short and incomplete.
Yes.
He had a man open down the field. But again, Hill, not the regular quarterback, obviously. It was thrown down at the ankles, and it was incomplete. So a nice job by Plainfield that time. They did not let him get to the outside, which is where he was trying to roll out to, and threw the ball incomplete.
And, Rob, I'm starting to question Decatur Central's strategy because Polston, he's played, all things considered for a freshman, playing for a 5A team. He's done pretty well all season, he passed for 378 yards against us last time.
Well, and they've been very effective when he's been in the ball game, and they've been not very effective when he has not been in the ball game. But,
yeah.
Hey, we'll take it. First down and 10 for Plainfield. 2 receivers to each side of the field. Snap, give, straight ahead, not going anywhere. Decatur Central with the stop, loss of about 2 on the play. This is the best... Yes, this is the best opening field position for Plainfield tonight at the 28-yard line, 29-yard line.
Got to take advantage of that.
I mean, it's one of these games where 10-0 isn't great, but it feels like it could be a lot worse right now.
Oh, it could be. It could easily be 21-0. Yeah.
Out of the gun is Hunter Newell. Snap, back to pass, steps up, throws a man, got a man caught in the flat, across 25, across the 30, still going driving ahead to the 35, and all the way up near the 37. So it'll bring up a third and manageable, third and about 2 yards for the Plainfield Quakers.
So, yeah, Hunter Newell, that was only his third pass of the game. That one to Vanderbush. It goes for 8. Vanderbush has both of our receptions tonight.
Working out of the shotgun. 2 men to the right, 2 men to the left. Snap, back to pass. Gets away just before he's hit. It's caught. It's a first down. Great job sensing the man coming off the end that time by Newell. Gets it to Caden Vanderbush, and he catches it as he tiptoes on the near side of the field. First down up at the 43.
All right, so 2 consecutive passes to Vanderbush. His younger brother, Caden, now a freshman at the University of Iowa. Now Cale trying to make a name for himself as a junior.
Yeah, you flip those around. Caden's the junior. Cale's the one at...
Oh, yeah, I get them mixed up. Such similar names.
Snap, back to pass. Caught near side of the field. Tries to spin out of 1 tackle. Drives forward. Might have got a yard or 2. That time it was Noah Hessong. They tried the same play, just a different receiver that time. They'll give him a yard on the play up to the up to the 44. So 2nd and 9 coming up for Plainfield with 5:15 left to go in the first half.
So that was Hessing's first reception of the game. Only goes for 1 yard. Newell's hold on.
Snap, pass, same play to the far side of the field, and he's got room up near the 50. I believe that was number 6 that time, Hunter Newell, to number 9.
That's Chris Stevens.
Is that Chris Stevens? Yes,
Yes.
It was. Hard to see through these on the far side of the field, but it is indeed a catch up to the 49. So a 3rd down and 4 at midfield coming up for Plainfield.
Stevens has quietly had some good moments this year.
I'd try that little trap play again here. They've had a lot of success with that. Let's see if they go with that here again. Snap back to pass. They don't. He's going to throw. He's got time. He's got a man down the sideline. Overshot the intended receiver. Incomplete. And that'll bring up 4th down.
I say we got to go for it.
Well, it's decision time here for Brian Woodard because you're down 2 scores. Your defense has done a pretty good job, and that's what he's thinking. He's going to send the punt unit in. After those 2 initial drives, the Plainfield defense has done a pretty good job, and he will elect to punt it away. Probably the right call given where you're at on the field because you've been playing with pressure the whole game on this defense. Maybe gives yourselves a little bit of breathing room. You've got the wind at your back, chance to pin them deep.
Yeah, hopefully we will pin them deep.
And there's no one back deep for Decatur Central
to
receive
good.
this kick. So if they can get it away, they should get pretty good field position out of this. Snap.
Oh,
Got it away barely. It's a line drive kick, a wobbler. Let's see if they can run down there and get it before it goes into the end zone. It's to the 10, inside the 5. Better get on it, boys.
yes, yes. Down to the 1.
Down at the 1. It was down perfectly.
Yes.
Great job that time. Number 42 for Plainfield, TJ Gamble, a senior, running down there and falling on the football right at the 1-yard line.
Now, keep in mind, before you get too excited, last year in the regular season game at Decatur Central, the Quakers in the second quarter had a punt go out of bounds at the 1. I got excited then on the first play of the ensuing drive. Caleb Hicks of Decatur Central took it in 99 yards for a touchdown. In 118 games as a varsity commentator, that is, to this day, the only 99-yard rush I've ever commentated. So hopefully history will not repeat itself today. Hopefully we'll get a fumble for a touchdown or at least a safety. 4:13 to go now in the second quarter. In the sectional championship game, Decatur Central 10, Plainfield 0. However, the Hawks take over now at their own 1.
Yeah, I formation in the backfield. I think it's a quarterback sneak that time, and he'll sneak it ahead to about the 4, so a gain of 3. And 4:05 left to go in the first half. Decatur Central is out of timeouts, and it'll be interesting to see how they run this possession, whether they try to get aggressive and pick up some more points, or whether they're content to try to run some clock, get this ball out of here, and at least take a 10-point lead into, or try to take a 10-point lead into the locker room. So this will be a very interesting set of play calls here. They ran a very tight formation on first down. They're running a pretty tight formation here again, though they are running 2 receivers wide to the right, to the left side of the field. Now man goes in motion from left to right. Snap, quarterback keeper again. He's got some room. He's hit, and a gain of about 3 yards that time, up to about the 6. So it'll bring up a 3rd down, and they're going to say 7 on the board, so we'll go with that. So a 3rd down and 7. Looked like that was going to be a much bigger run than it was. It was a direct snap, and Plainfield closed very quickly. Again, I don't think they've got Polston in the game right now. I think they're doing these direct snaps to the running backs and receivers. Yeah, they are. Again, it's number 11 back there. So Polston's out of the ball game, and let's see what they can come up with here on 3rd down if they don't try to get him to the far side of the field to pull something off here. Snap, keeper, drives ahead. He's still going, and he's going to be he got a 1st down. Boy, 7 yards picked up on a huge 3rd down that time, and Plainfield had a great opportunity to get off the field and couldn't do it. And now if you're Decatur Central, with Plainfield having just the 1 timeout left, you can really run this clock down to, at the very worst, you don't give them the ball back.
And Rob, I would imagine, now it's 2:40 to go now and counting. I would imagine that with no timeouts left and Decatur Central getting the ball first to start the second half, they probably will just, be content with being very conservative and running out the rest of the clock.
Yeah, we'll see. Polston is back in the ball game. 3 receivers wide to the left, 1 man to the right, 1 man in tight right side. Snap back to pass, throws, got a man caught on the far side of the field, and he turns up. He's still going and stays in bounds up near the 20. Wasn't sure where the ball was there for a moment. There was a cloud of jerseys, and it ends up being a gain of about 8 yards. And again, Decatur Central cannot stop the clock. So with the ball sitting at the 20, they don't look like they're in a huge hurry, but in a good position here. If they pick up another 1st down, they may decide to get it and go with it a little bit.
Yeah, I think they're going to be very, very conservative the rest of the way. Now, if they make a mistake, we got to jump on it. But I know they got an aggressive formation here, though.
Snap back to pass. Steps up, throwing. It is dropped on the far side of the field.
We got a flag.
But a flag is in late. Decatur Central looks like they are happy with the flag. It is in the backfield. And a Plainfield player signaling it on Decatur Central. The quarterback, Polston, was jumping around like he was excited about it. It was in the backfield. And this is a big call in the ball game.
Let's see what it is here. Now we got one of the officials.
So this must be on. It must be on Decatur Central. They're talking to Brian Woodard. That's very unusual. They asked the coach's permission to make a call. Holding on, on Decatur Central, and they will move them back. So that's usually they ask a player on the field what they want to do, and then they make the signal based on the coach. But in this case, they went over to Brian Woodard. Maybe there was some discussion about where the ball would be placed, because that will move the ball all the way back to the 8-yard line. So now a 2nd down and 13, what would have been a 3rd and 3 becomes a 2nd down. They're trying to, for some reason they wanted to start the clock. I'm very surprised about that, maybe because it came out of a live ball situation, but they did want the clock started. And so now we'll see what Decatur Central elects to do here on 2nd and long. Snap, quarterback keeper, and that's not going anywhere. And now Plainfield may burn a timeout here. Yeah, it doesn't look like they're going to do that. Brian Woodard may be thinking, they may run. They're going to run it again anyway, so I'll burn it then. But and that's where losing those 2 timeouts early on really hurt the Quakers.
Yeah, we could otherwise be getting the ball back with a minute or so, around midfield with, plenty of time to do something.
Well, again, the good news is if you're a Plainfield fan, this could be a lot worse than 10-0.
Yeah.
It is 10-0, which is not good, but it could be much worse, and you're right in this ball game right now. But you got to get off the field here. Let's see what happens. 3rd down, shotgun snap, give to the man in the backfield. He's going to breaks a tackle, still going, still driving, and he will be stopped, and Brian Woodard will spend a timeout with 36.5 seconds left to go.
So we're going to have Decatur Central punting from their own end zone. In fact, fairly deep into the end zone. So, and keep in mind, Plainfield has blocked at least 5 kicks this season, counting field goals, extra points, and punts. So now would be a good time to do that, especially if we recover for a touchdown. But even if only for a safety, that would still make it a 1-possession game at 10-2. So now, anyway, for those of you just joining us, this is the sectional championship game here at Plainfield. Decatur Central leads Plainfield by a score of 10-0. The Hawks started off red hot, scored a touchdown on their first possession just a minute 30 into the game on a 41-yard touchdown pass from freshman quarterback Bo Polston to Chris Richmond. Then added a field goal, a 31-yard field goal by Fogel on their second possession, Ashton Fogel. Then there's been no scoring since. Plainfield has not gotten much offense going except for a 63-yard rush by Noah Hessung that unfortunately did not lead to any points. Hunter Newell finally started to get a little bit of passing offense going on the last possession with a couple of completions to Caden Vanderbush and to Caden Vanderbush and one to Chris Stevens. Now Decatur Central punting from their own end zone. We're going for the block. He gets it away. Plainfield calls for a fair catch and gets it just before the 50.
Boy, Plainfield got a huge break. They ran right into that punter, and the official, I don't know if he was saying he was pushed into the kicker. They did not throw a flag. So a huge break for Plainfield there, because that could have been either running into the kicker or roughing the kicker. One would have been much worse than the other, but no flag there that time, and maybe the kicker was taking some acting classes during the school day. Who knows?
He didn't take any acting classes from me, I promise you that.
So the ball's at the 45, 29.7 seconds left to go, and now a whistle and a stoppage of play.
And neither team has a timeout left, so, neither team has a timeout left. I looked at the scoreboard wrong. And now apparently there's a penalty on what's going on here? 29.7 seconds to go. So
and still nothing yet. The officials are waiting, and maybe there was no penalty. No, there is. They're going to move it into deep into Plainfield, into Decatur Central territory.
I didn't even see what the call was.
It had to be a personal foul.
Yeah, for 15 yards, yeah. All right. So now Plainfield, 29.7 seconds to go, 30 yards. And that's a huge break for the Quakers. So now 2 receivers to each side, 1 running back. Newell in shotgun. Let's go, boys. Let's get some points.
And now offside's going to be called on Decatur Central. They moved about 3 guys across the ball before the snap. So now the ball will move all the way down to the 25-yard line.
Okay, so we've been given 20 free yards on this play. We got good field position to begin with at the Decatur Central 45. Now we've gotten 20 free yards. No excuse for not getting any points here. Come on, boys. Let's do it. 2 receivers to each side, 1 running back, Newell in shotgun.
Morgan out of the gun, 2 receivers to the left, 2 to the right, and now another whistle and another stoppage of play. What is going on here?
I do not know. After virtually a penalty-free game for about the first quarter and a half, and now they're doing a substitution here, Decatur Central is. All right, so 1st and 5 now for the Quakers at the Decatur Central 25, trailing 10-0 with 29.7 seconds to go in the second quarter.
Snap, back to pass, steps up, throws down the field, got a man caught.
Oh,
He
no.
was wide open, had the first down, and they would have easily been in field goal territory. Unfortunately, hits off the hands of Caden Vanderbush and falls incomplete.
Yeah, I should have absolutely had that one.
Now, they do have the wind at their back, and it would be right now about a 42-yard field goal. Don't know if they've got the leg to do that, but the wind would be helping them.
Yeah, and the thing is, if we get down close enough for a field goal, it'd be worth doing. That would make it a 1-possession game going into the locker room. So now 25.5 seconds to go, 2nd and 5.
Back to pass, steps up, rolling right side, rolling. Got to get rid of it, throws, and it is incomplete on the far side of the field.
Well, it looked to me like a Decatur Central guy. It was hard to tell because it was the far side of the field, but it looked like a Decatur Central guy got a hand on it. And, one of Newell's Newell's first pass, in fact, on the first possession was nearly intercepted, so he's got to be careful. He is not counting 2 Hail Marys. He has not thrown an interception since the Mooresville game back in week 3. He's really improved down the stretch this season, and I think he's setting himself up for a very big senior season in which he's going to get some college scholarship offers.
Big opportunity here for Plainfield. 3rd down and 5 from the 25-yard line. Clock will stop with the first down. Snap, back to pass, steps up. He's going to run with it. He's got the first down. Well, he's close. Yeah, I think he got it. And that will move the chain. So they've got to get up there and spike the ball.
Yeah.
Gets it by inches. And now they will start the clock. There's this. What was he doing? He knelt instead of spiking the ball.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
So he clocks the ball with 4 seconds to go. Hunter Newell made a terrible mistake that time.
Oh,
he took
my
a knee
God.
instead of spiking the ball.
Cost us 9 seconds.
Yeah, so they're going to have to try to kick a field goal here.
Oh, my God. That is just an incredible lapse on the part of Hunter Newell.
I don't actually know if I've ever seen that in a high school kid, so it happens. But
yeah.
I don't know if I've ever actually seen that in a game before. All right, here we go. Field goal coming up. Ball's at the 29, so it'll be a 39-yard kick.
Plainfield has not hit a field goal all season. Grimes is 26 for 30 on extra points.
Snap is
Oh,
low.
no.
The spot, the kick is up, and the kick hits the uprights. No good.
Oh, my God. It was a bad snap. I mean, it bounced. The snap actually bounced on the ground, so it was amazing that he got the kickoff at all. It was a good effort, but oh, my God. Well, a bad first half for Plainfield. The good news is that it could have been a lot worse. As we head to the locker rooms now, your score in the sectional championship game: Decatur Central 10, Plainfield 0.
It's it's just just a bad way to go into the half.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Plainfield had great opportunities there. They would have had he spiked the ball, had a good shot to at least get one play into the end zone.
Yeah.
And then they had to rush that kick onto the field. Well,
Yeah.
so let me thank the sponsors, then I'll turn the halftime show over to you, Lek. We are at the half. It is indeed a 10-0 Decatur Central lead. And the sponsors for Plainfield football this year are CCB Contracting, Geodis, Gannell Financial, Julia Burbridge, Remax Centerstone of Plainfield, Kyle Burnfield Mortgage, Lender at Flagstar Bank, Team Turley Fairway Mortgage, Bailey & Wood Financial Group, African Plum Home, MyIT Indy at myitindy.com, I-70 Wrecker Service and Garage, BGW Construction, LLC, The Beacon Sign Company, Jeff Brown Photography, Karen Alexander Photography, and Whitlow's Towing. So again, if you're just tuning in tonight, Rob Kendall along with Lex Zorn from Plainfield High School. It is a 10-0 Plainfield disadvantage. Plainfield on the low end of the score. They've got the 0. Decatur Central has got the 10. And here at the halftime, let's bring in Lex Zorn.
Well, Rob, certainly not the way that we hoped the game would go for us. We're not out of it yet by any stretch of the imagination. We're down by 10-0. We were down by 10 early in the fourth quarter at Martinsville before we came back to win that game. Got 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter by Noah Hessing. This game actually, it started off very badly. Decatur Central got the ball first. Plainfield got the ball first. But went 3 and out, and then Decatur Central very quickly scored with 10:30 to go in the first quarter on a 41-yard touchdown pass from Bo Polston to Chris Richmond. Ashton Vogel was good on the extra point, making it 7-0, and then Plainfield, after again failing to score on its second possession, Decatur Central got the ball back. This time got into the red zone but stalled and settled for a 31-yard field goal by Vogel. That brought us to our current score of 10-0. Plainfield has threatened to score twice since then. First, Noah Hessing rushed 63 yards from the Plainfield 20 to the Decatur Central 17, but then the Quakers turned it over on downs. And then late in the second half, Plainfield forced a Decatur Central punt from the end zone, took over at the Decatur Central 45. Then 2 consecutive penalties gave the Quakers 20 free yards, moving them up to the 25. However, when there were 13 seconds left, and after the Quakers had just gotten a first down at the 20-yard line on a good rush by Hunter Newell, Newell had an incredible lapse of judgment, and rather than spiking the ball into the ground to throw an incomplete pass and stop the clock, he knelt. And then by the time he realized and corrected his mistake, 9 seconds had run off, and that left only time for one more play. And then a 39-yard field goal attempt by Cameron Grimes hit the crossbar and was no good. A look at the individual statistics for Plainfield. Hunter Newell has completed 5 of 10 passes for 36 yards. Cale Vanderbush has 3 receptions for 30 yards. Chris Stevens, 1 for 5, and Noah Hessing, 1 for 1. On the ground, Noah Hessing has done most of the damage with 12 rushes for 94 yards. Troy Larison, 1 for -5, and Hunter Newell, 4 for -12. So basically, if Plainfield is going to come back and win this game, it can be done, certainly. Decatur Central has not looked that good on offense since their first 2 possessions, and really since about the first half of their second possession. We've pretty well contained them since then, and very oddly, even though they have a very good starting quarterback in Bo Polston, who is a freshman but generally has not played like it. In fact, like I said, he threw for 378 yards against us in the overtime loss here 6 weeks ago. But Polston seems like he's been out on about half of Decatur Central's plays, and they've done direct snaps to their running backs. So I'm not sure what they're thinking is, especially because those plays have not been very effective. So anyway, what Plainfield's going to have to do, Hessing, his one great run. I mean, like he's 12 for 94. Other than that one play, he's 11 for 31. So just about 3 a carry. So if Hessing gets a couple of more big runs and starts to command more defensive attention, that could open up some passes for Newell, which we really need to do. Grant Irwin, the hero, the MVP of last week's game. I don't think he's even had a ball thrown to him tonight. And, he scored 3 touchdowns. He had touchdown passes of 48, 35, and 39 yards last week in that big victory up at Harrison. Anyway, we've got to get him into the action. Also, Isaiah Miller has had some good catches in the second half of the season. He's been absent tonight, so we just need to get a good offense, a good rushing passing balance here in the second half to scatter the Decatur Central defense enough that we're able to come down and get some points. And we got to finish drives, and we have to really keep on doing what we've done to them defensively since about the second half of their second possession. And we do that, and I think we'll be okay. I think we got a good shot to come back and win this one. But anyway, right now, let's take a look at what the other Hendricks County teams have done so far in the tournament and what they're up to tonight, those who are still left. Starting in Class 6A, the third-ranked Brownsburg Bulldogs lost their chance at a perfect record when they lost the regular season finale to Hamilton Southeastern 31-28. That dropped Brownsburg from number 1 to number 3 and shot Hamilton Southeastern up to number 1. However, the Bulldogs recovered last week and opened the playoffs with a very big 48-20 win over 8th-ranked Ben Davis, a 9-time state champion. The other 6A team, Avon, suffered through its second consecutive 1-8 regular season, but had the good fortune of drawing another 1-8 team in the first round of the playoffs, the Pike Red Devils. Avon beat Pike last week 25-14, setting up a match against Brownsburg tonight at Avon. Brownsburg beat Avon during the regular season 60-21, obviously is a heavy favorite tonight. And I'll tell you, after all the great things that Mark Bless did, there's starting to be some real concern that, he might be near the end at Avon. I hope not. I have a lot of great memories of commentating Avon all the years that they were an Audio Sports Online school. And when, we had that 4-year series where we would open the season against them, I really missed the game. I really missed the games against Avon. I mean, that was a great tune-up for us, playing a heavyweight 6A team like that. But anyway, again, Brownsburg and Avon playing for the sectional championship tonight at Avon. Meanwhile, in Class 3A, the 11th-ranked Tri-West Bruins, after an 8-1 regular season, unfortunately, depending on which side you're on, unfortunately for them, were eliminated in their first playoff game 2 weeks ago to the Danville Warriors, 40-21. Tri-West beat Danville 24-21 back in Week 5, but their cross-county rival turned the tables in the playoffs, which, just like Plainfield did to Harrison last week. And meanwhile, Danville, the other 3A team in Hendricks County, followed that upset over Tri-West with an even bigger upset last week, where they went up to Thorntown and got a 36-34 win at Western Boone, who has won a state championship 3 of the last 4 years. The first 2 in 2A in 2018 and 2019. Then they had to move up to Class 3A, where they won the state championship again in 2020. So now Danville, suddenly after a 3-6 regular season, granted against a very tough schedule, certainly can redeem their season tonight, and likely will, because they play 4-7 Monrovia at Monrovia. Should be a fairly easy win for Danville. Monrovia went 2-7 in the regular season and advanced to the sectional championship largely because they got on the weak side of the bracket. That they beat Purdue. They beat Purdue Polytechnic and Speedway. And finally, in Class 2A, Cascade's season came to an end last week with a 30-14 loss at Sullivan. The Cadets finished the season at 6-5, their first winning record in 9 years. And I'll tell you, there's a funny story for me about that game personally, because I was Cascade's primary commentator in football for 2 years in a row for 2017 and 2018. But I also commentated some Plainfield games both years. And anyway, in fact, I've commentated some Plainfield games every year, multiple Plainfield games every year for the last 11 years, and hopefully that will continue. But anyway, in 2018, Cascade was in its last year in the Western Indiana Conference, which is a 2-division conference. And in the last regular season game every year in Week 9, the first place teams in each division play each other for the conference championship, and then the second place teams play each other, third place teams play each other, and so on. And anyway, Cascade ended up playing the crossover game at Sullivan, and I didn't even know where Sullivan was. And keep in mind, I'm a lifelong Hoosier. I had to look it up. It's almost in Illinois. It's so far to the west, and it's about halfway between Terre Haute and Vincennes. But the one saving grace about that trip is that it would, unlike a lot of Cascade's opponents from the WIC days where you had to go out into the boondocks on a lot of winding country roads with no lighting, this one was easy to get. You just had to drive to Terre Haute on I-70, and then there's like one road would take you the rest of the way. So at least it was a direct route, even though it was long. And anyway, I remember commenting that night, especially knowing Cascade was going to leave the conference at the end of the year. It would probably be the last matchup between the two schools for the foreseeable future, but it only took 4 years because Sullivan was a 3A team at the time. Now they moved down to 2A, and they've come back so Cascade, and Sullivan ran into each other in the playoffs this year. But anyway, I also wanted to comment about Danville. I don't know what it is about Danville. Plainfield and Decatur Central have had some of the worst tournament luck over the years. Danville's just had some of the best tournament luck, both in football and in boys and girls basketball. In fact, in the last 6 or 7 years, they have a long history of mediocre regular seasons followed by magical tournament runs. I remember there was one year where the girls basketball team, I think they were 13-11 in the regular season, and they got all the way to the semi-state. So for whatever reason, that's a team that really just finds the playoff magic. And whoever wins this game tonight, like I said, if Plainfield wins, it will only be their second sectional championship. If Decatur Central wins, it will only be their third. So obviously, whoever wins this game tonight, it will be a big deal. And we do have a really big crowd. We have about 2,500 Plainfield fans here on the home side of the field, and then across the field in the visiting bleachers, we have about 300 or 400 Decatur Central fans. Also, a good number of fans in the standing room. There is tailgating out in the parking lot before the game. And, one thing that's helped tonight is we have unseasonably warmed. One thing that's really helped tonight is that we have incredible weather for this time of year. Right now it's 70 degrees here in Plainfield, 8:09 your time of day. 77 was actually your high temperature today here in Plainfield. And this is the third week of the playoffs. Plainfield had the first round bye, but most of the 1A to 4A teams played 2 weeks ago to open the playoffs. And one thing that's really been sad for me in my 11 years as a commentator is that some of the worst attended games I've ever commentated were in the playoffs because the weather got so bad. I've commentated teams, that drew 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, for some of the regular season games, and then you get into a playoff game with rotten weather, and they have about 300 people there, and I'm not exaggerating. In fact, I remember, a game that, from a Plainfield fan standpoint, it was nice, but I felt bad for the home team. You go back to their second round game back in 2014 out at Northview in the lovely community of Brazil in the far west of the state. Northview had been a weak program for a long time, then finally had a good regular season. They were 7-2, won their first playoff game on the road. Then they came back home, and they had like 300 people there, including about 50 from Plainfield, because the temperature was in the upper 30s at the start of the game. And we actually had light snow on the way to the game, and that was just a miserable, miserable evening. And I can honestly say, I know Rob talked a few weeks ago about my great memory when it comes to sports, but I'll tell you, that is one game I can honestly say I don't remember one single play from that game. That game is just like one big haze in my mind. It was a very even. Plainfield won 28-13. I didn't even remember the score. I had to look it up, but I don't remember one single play of that game. It was just miserable, and Plainfield winning made it good, of course. But I felt really bad for the Northview fans. All the years they waited for a good team, and then they finally host a playoff game when they have a good team, and it's that kind of terrible weather. And then Plainfield came back the next. And by the way, talking about not remembering a play of that Plainfield game. in sharp contrast, a week later, I commentated Plainfield back here against Roncalli for the sectional championship. 8 years later, I remember that game almost like it was yesterday. That was a fantastic game. Unfortunately, Plainfield lost, but I remember after that game, I felt nothing but pride, to be the Plainfield commentator because, after the way that regular season went, 2-7 with all the injuries, all the young guys, and that we came back, we got a playoff win over Danville, got a playoff win on the road against Northview, and then came down. We came back home to play a team that beat us 27-3 in the regular season, took them down to the wire, only lost 24-17. That was an inspirational performance. And, of course I wanted us to win, but I didn't feel any heartbreak over that loss. I did feel heartbreak 2 years later when we lost the sectional championship game to Zionsville because we should have won that one. We played our A- game, but Zionsville played its A game, and usually your A- game is enough. That night it wasn't. And there were two plays on which, two sequences of events. One play and one sequence of events on which the game hinged. Early in the game, we could have taken a 37-yard field goal by John Hagee, which would have been a chip shot by his standards. He went on to Ball State, as did his older brother Morgan, who's probably the best kicker in school history. And then the other thing is we had the ball, I think it was the third quarter, we had it 1st and goal at the Zionsville 2, then had a series of penalties and losses that backed us up to the 34. We did not get any points on the drive. So, as I always say, we lost, we left 10 points on the field in that game and we lost by 5, 33-28. And I remember that last drive, how dramatic it was. Gavin Ritter caught, I think, a 30 or 40-yard pass, and he got injured on the play. One of the great wide receivers in school history, went on to play collegiately at DePauw. And then he had to watch the rest of the game from the sidelines, and then we had it down to about the 12, and then Ben Slayton threw into a crowd of about 10. And I think it probably only took about 5 seconds for the referee to signal. It seemed like a lot longer than that, and then finally he waved his arms, no good. And, we came up short, but what a great game it was. Just too bad that Coach Woodard was on the short end that night. That was his 6th and most recent sectional championship game. Tonight is his 7th, and hopefully he'll get it done.
All right, here we go, Lack. 1 half left to go. Let's hope it's not the last half of the season. Let's hope Plainfield can pull out a big win here tonight. Rob Kendall along with Lex Zorn coming your way tonight from Plainfield High School, where the Quakers trail it 10-0 against the Decatur Central Hawks. Decatur Central will get the ball to begin the second half. And to Plainfield tonight, home team on the scoreboard, red jerseys, white letters and numbers, gray helmets, gray pants. Decatur Central, the visitors, all white, kind enough to wear gold numbers with the white jerseys, which make them impossible to read, and blue helmets.
Rob, someday I'm thinking about writing a book about my experiences as a high school sports commentator, and I'm going to have a chapter on the hardest uniforms to read. And among them are going to be Lebanon's home jerseys. If I remember correctly, I don't remember what the color scheme was because it's been so long. It's been 10 years since, 9 years since I was up there. But I think it was like black uniforms with purple numbers or something really crazy like that. And, of course, I hate to pick on Cascade because, that was such a great experience for me. But the Cascade girls, the first 2 years I was there, it was white jerseys with the baby blue numbers.
All right, this is a big quarter for Plainfield. They get ready to kick it off because they've got the wind at their back. And this wind, as we've seen, has kind of played some havoc early on with the ability to punt and kick the football. So Plainfield with an opportunity now with the wind at their back to hopefully make some inroads here. If they can get a good kickoff here, pin them back deep, and use the wind to their advantage here in the third quarter. Here we go. Right foot into it. It's a line drive kick. It'll sail into the end zone just inside the pylon. And that's about a 20-yard difference going into the end zone versus going out of bounds. And Decatur Central will take over at their own 20.
Now we just got to do a 3-and-out here, if not a turnover. And then, like I was saying at the halftime, we've got to get a good rushing, passing offense. If Noah can get a couple of really big gains to start getting more defensive attention, that can open more passing opportunities for Hunter. He has not gotten much done. He did not do much in the first half, and I don't think he even threw once to Grant Irwin.
All right, so here we go out of the gun. Snap. And again, it's Hill in the backfield. No, the traditional quarterback Polston, and it's a short gain, a direct snap, and a run. Bull Polston, the freshman, again, for some reason, not out there, and it seemed like the most effective offense they've run tonight. Now he is out there.
You just wonder if maybe, he has some kind of, maybe he's not at 100%. I don't know. I'm just guessing. We don't get injury reports here in high school ball, but so now 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left.
Working out of the gun. Polston, snap, quick drop, throws. Is it caught? Boy, picked it up off the dirt, I guess they said. Short gain, but it is a completion, and now they're going to put it all the way up at the 27. So a gain of about 5 yards that time, maybe 6. They need to get to the 30, 3rd down and 3. That looked like it was a low throw, but they did give him credit for the reception.
I could not tell from my vantage point if he made the catch or not. It was really close. We don't have the benefit of video monitors here at most high school stadiums. Maybe someday we will, but nevertheless, a very critical 3rd down for the Plainfield defense early in the 3rd quarter, trailing by 10 in the sectional championship.
Out of the gun, snap, quick drop, throws. It is caught on the far side of the field, and that's enough for a 1st down. And he's up to about the 33-yard line. That time it was number 1 on the near side of the field, pulling the catch in, Taquan Taylor.
We're going to have to get a stop here, Of course, one thing, it was one really odd, and I'm pretty sure that's the first game I've ever commentated in which both teams used all 3 timeouts in the same half. I don't ever recall that happening before. It'll be interesting to see what the timeout usage here is in the second half. But anyway, Decatur Central now lining up 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right.
Direct snap again. He'll try to flush it to the far side of the field. Flag flies in, and that's in the area of a hold. And, the Plainfield letting the referee know in case they didn't already know. Which you assume they already know because the flag is on the field.
Rob, you ought to become an official. You're so good at picking out the penalties.
Well, it is easier when you're standing above the field of play and you can see the guy blatantly grab the other guy's jersey.
Yeah, and in fact, actually last week at Harrison, several of the guys in the press box, thought that on Grant Irwin's second touchdown that he had gotten away, that we got away with a penalty on that play. So anyway, so now 1st and 23 for the Hawks. No excuse for not getting him off the field now. 9:57 to go and counting in the 3rd quarter. Decatur Central 10, Plainfield 0 in the sectional championship. Come on, boys. 1
man in the backfield, Polston out of the gun. 2 receivers each side of the field. Snap, quick drop, going down the field. He's going deep, and it is caught up at the 45. Flag flies in late. Let's see if this is offensive pass interference or not. It looked like he really got a push there because he was wide open, and they were stride for stride. Let's see.
Based on where the players are going, it looks like it's going to be, yes, all right.
That's the correct call. I'm not saying because we're the Plainfield announcer. They were stride for stride, and then all of a sudden the guy was wide open. So it is going to be offensive pass interference on Decatur Central. So another gift for the Quakers, as with 9:40 to go, Decatur Central will be moved all the way back to, they're still moving. Still going. 15
all right.
And counting.
Well, now there's
10. So the 10-yard line. So it'll bring up a 1st down and 23.
33.
No, 23. They need to get to the 33-yard line. The ball's at the 10.
No, the
30, I'm sorry. You're right. You're 100% right. I was looking at you're right. 1st and 33. Totally correct, Lex.
All right.
My bad.
No excuse for not getting him off the field here, boys.
Yeah. All right. So let's see what happens. Although, again, keep in mind, they just completed that very long pass. So definitely not out of the realm of possibility that they can do it. Working out of the gun is Polston. Snap. Back to pass. He's going deep. Going down the sideline, and it is caught. And it is a 1st down at midfield.
Oh, my God.
They have completed that pass every time they've tried it this game, and I don't know what Plainfield can do about it because he's a lot faster than the guy covering him. Number 1 that time with the reception.
Taquan Taylor.
Taquan Taylor, 1st down into Plainfield territory, and they got no answer for that.
Man, that is absolutely devastating. And, if Plainfield loses this game, the epitaph of their season is not getting teams off the field. That's been their Achilles heel.
So snap, rolling right side, rolling on the run, throwing. He's got a man incomplete. Had the guy open on the far side of the field. overthrew the intended receiver. That time it was number 11, Pharrell Carter, the intended receiver. It'll bring up second down. You know, the other thing, and this is funny, Leck, you know, for years and years and years, we've done that. 15 years now, we've done the coaches show with Brian Woodard.
Yeah.
And we've long joked about the idea of him getting to 100 wins.
Yeah.
He currently sits at 97 wins.
That's right. Yeah. So if he gets to 100, you know, that means it would have to be advancing to the state championship game. He'd have to win tonight, the regional next week, the semi-state the week after that. So he would go into the state championship game with 100. But first things first, we got to take care of business tonight.
So 2nd and 10 coming up. Snap back to pass. Steps up. Here it comes. Throw tipped up, incomplete. Great defense on the near side of the field that time. Number 10, Grant Irwin, knocks the ball away. And I like this Plainfield approach here. They brought some extra guys that time saying, we're not going to give you time to plant that back foot and throw the ball deep down the field. I like that defensive approach. I like that response. Let's see if they can get them off the field here on 3rd down.
Oh, they better. 9:02 to go in the 3rd quarter now. Decatur Central leading Plainfield 10-0. Both teams coming off losing records in the regular season, trying to redeem the season with what would be a rare sectional championship for either school. Only the 2nd for Plainfield, only the 3rd for Decatur Central, though each team has been to the state championship game in its class once.
Here we go. 3rd down. Snap. Back to pass. Here they come. Little screen pass. It is caught on the far side of the field. He's going to be short of the 1st down. The ball's at the 43. 43. They need the 39. And now decision time for Decatur Central. And it looks like they have made up their mind that they are going to go for it. And
well, you know,
this is where your inability to move the ball has really dictated this decision because they don't fear the Plainfield offense.
Yeah, and we've got to earn their respect, or at least surprise them.
Yeah, here we go. 3 receivers wide to the left, 1 man to the right, single man in the backfield. Working out of the gun. Tried to draw him off sides, didn't work. There's the snap. Fumbled the snap, gets it back, throws it up, and it is incomplete. Flag flies in late. And let's see what the flag is. Flag came from the sideline. And Plainfield's moving off the field as though they think it's on Decatur Central. And if it holds, Decatur Central also running off the field.
Well, that would be, yes, it would decline it.
So great stand there by Plainfield. And while Decatur Central was able to get out of their own end zone, they do give the ball back to the Quakers. This will be their best field position to start a drive, I believe, tonight at the 43, their own 43-yard line. They trail it 10-0, 8:52 left to go in the 3rd quarter.
Come on, boys. Let's finish a drive here.
Out of the gun. Snap. Give. Hessung. Straight ahead. Room to run. Driving forward. Still going. What's going on here? Where's the ball? It's fumbled.
Oh,
it's a fumble, and Decatur Central's got it back, and he is off to the races. He's inside the 20, still going all the way down around the 20-yard line, and I'm terribly sorry there. I lost track of the ball.
I didn't see it come out because there's a big, crowd of players.
And so a fumble and a return by Decatur Central down to the 20-yard line.
And Rob, I saw Noah. He was stutter stepping, like he was just like looking for a hole, and then he drove forward, and then it looked like he was trying to push forward for extra yards, and I guess that's when the ball came out.
So here we go, 1st down and 10 now for Decatur Central, and they're easily into field goal range. Now that would still just make it a 2-possession game, but again, the Plainfield defense called upon to make something big happen here as they find themselves with their backs up against the wall. 8:35 left to go in the contest. Direct snap, keeper, breaks it to the far side of the field, tries to cut it back, a little bit of room, drives forward, coast of Quakers on the tackle, gain of about 4 yards that time.
I thought I saw a flag on the far side. There's a flag on the far side.
It's in the backfield. It's in the area of a hold. It is a hold on Decatur Central.
Yes.
So the Decatur Central penalties are really keeping Plainfield in the game right now.
Yeah, we got to start taking advantage. We've had a lot of stuff fall into our lap this game. We have not taken advantage of it. We got to start doing that. Now 8:25 to go in the 3rd quarter, still 10-0. And I think our offense is not playing with much confidence right now.
So they'll move the ball all the way back to the 29-yard line. And it'll bring up a 2nd and basically 19 yards. Yeah, 2nd and 19, or 1st and 19, I'm sorry. 8 minutes, 5 seconds left to go in the 3rd quarter. And you're right, Leck. I mean, it's just You just keep playing with your back up against the wall. Snap, give, straight ahead, and a little bit of a hole, and then a host of Quakers come in and seal it off. Gain of about 4 yards on first down. It'll bring up second. They'll say 17 on the board.
All right, so we just got to, make sure we don't let them get the first down. I mean, the main thing is not to let them have a touchdown here.
Yeah, and again, they would be kicking into the wind if indeed they did have to attempt a field goal, but obviously Decatur Central, they've had big plays on their mind all night.
Yeah.
And let's see if they can pull one off here. Out of the gun, snap, play action, flushed out. Now he's going to heave it up, center of the field, and it is
Yes,
picked off
intercepted.
in the end zone. Can he run it back? Yes, he can. Here we go. He's to the 5, to the 10, 15, 20, 25-yard line. Interception, Plainfield.
Boy, I don't know who Polston was throwing to there. That was just a very bad
And
decision
who
there.
got the ball? There's a pile of people, and it's number 25 for Plainfield. Interception that time by Carter Ferguson. And
All right.
Carter Ferguson, with not only the wherewithal to intercept the ball, but also to run it back to the 25-yard line. So he picked up, because he was in the end zone, an additional 26-yard line, 6 yards for the Quakers. So a wild and wacky third quarter thus far.
7:16 to go, our second possession of the half. We've got to seize the momentum here.
Yeah, big play by Plainfield. So crisis averted there off the fumble in Decatur Central territory, or into Plainfield territory. And now let's see what Hunter Newell can do. Working out of the gun, one man in the backfield, 3 men to the right. Man goes in motion from right to left. Snap, give, straight ahead, and stays on his feet. Breaks a couple tackles, still going, still driving.
He's got the first.
Very close, still going. Now they'll pile it forward, and it looks like they're going to give him the first down, Leck. Let's see. Yes, they will. Great
Yes.
run that time by number 2, Noah Hessong. Looked like he was down very near the line of scrimmage, put his hand on the ground, and was able to keep his knees off the ground, picking up that first down.
Yeah, so they give him credit for 10 there. Noah Hessling trying very hard to stop this from being his final high school game. He's been a 4-year starter here at Plainfield.
3 to the right, 1 man in the backfield. Out of the gun, snap, give, straight ahead, driving, picks up about 3 yards that time, and not a great spot, so they'll call it 2 yards up to the 39. Still plenty of time in the ball game. Heard some fans out there a little frustrated about the amount of clock Plainfield's using, but you got a lot of time left. You got to get 2 scores, and it's important to get out there and make sure that you run the right plays.
You know, I just wonder if they just think that if they keep giving it to Noah, that eventually he's going to get a super breakthrough. He did get the one for 63 yards, but other than that, he's been getting around 3 a carry.
Well, the problem is you've done almost nothing in your pass game tonight.
Yeah.
And now the play clock's winding down. Snap. Give is to Hessong. He'll bust it to the far side of the field. He's got room to run.
Yes.
He turns the corner across midfield. Inside the 40, 35, 30. Driving inside the 25-yard line.
All right, that's a pickup of about 35 yards there for Noah Hessing.
And so first down. Nope. Is there a flag? I don't see a flag.
I don't either.
Doesn't look like anybody's. Holding is the call
Oh,
against
no.
Plainfield.
Oh, no.
So wipe that away. It'll depend on where the hold was at. I didn't see a flag on the field.
Nor did I. But yeah, Noah, Noah's been running up the middle, I think, on just about every one of his rushes. Then he found some room around the right side, then took advantage of it, turned on the speed. But unfortunately, it was all for naught. And now 5:50 to go. We're in the latter half now of the third quarter. Still have not scored in this game, down 10-0.
Yeah.
And that moves the ball back 9 yards.
Yeah, that's a backbreaker. I mean, you're down in the
10 yards.
territory. Yeah, all the way back now. It's a 2nd and 18, 5:50 left to go in the third.
All right.
And again, the other thing Plainfield's up against is they've got the wind at their back right now. And so that will make the fourth quarter very tough if indeed they can't close this gap. Little stretch play to the opposite side of the field, cuts it back, drives forward, gets back up to about the 30. And a nice job by Decatur Central that time. They just really closed that. They were not fooled on the they kind of run the same play that they ran last time, but to the opposite side of the field.
We got to get something going here. And, Hunter Newell has only thrown 10 passes in this game after more than 2.5 quarters. completed 5 of them for only 36 yards. We're going to have to get some, unless something dramatic happens, we're going to have to get some passing offense going.
2 receivers to the right, 2 to the left. Out of the gun, snap, back to pass, steps up, throws it up, and it overshot the intended receiver.
Yeah, that was just a mess.
Yeah, he stopped running that for some reason. Caden Vanderbush was the intended receiver, and he stopped running. I'm not sure why he stopped running the route, and I think that's what his coach is asking him right now.
So now a 4th and 16, and presumably the Quakers being at their own 31 will punt. Still 17 minutes and 1 second to play in this game. And, you know, there have been several good opportunities that are falling into our lap tonight that we simply have not capitalized on. And if we lose this game, I think that's going to be the big story. Just like with Harrison last week, you know, they beat themselves with the
got the kick away. It'll hit. It'll take a huge bounce forward. It'll be fielded at the 20, and a host of Quakers down there to get him. Nice job that time.
All right.
Great coverage on the tackle that time was number 30 for Plainfield. That was Jake Robinson, a senior, getting down there to make the hit. And a big play. They'll flip the field. Ball's at the 21, 4:49 left to go in the third quarter.
Now, the thing is, you know, we've our defense after the first possession and a half has actually done fairly well in containing them. I think Decatur Central's also hurt itself by not, in my opinion, not going to Polston enough, and you're going to too many of the direct snaps to the running backs, most of which have not been very effective.
Snap, quick pass, screen pass, far side of the field, turns the corner, and a nice open field tackle, saving a big gain that time by number 5, Harrison Herbeck. It was a gain of about 7 yards, but it could, or 6 yards rather, but it could have been much worse. Big open field tackle kept that relatively short.
So now 2nd and 4, you know, and it's getting to the point now where we're nearly 2/3 into the way of this game. We need to start trying to, you know, finish off, you know, their offense, get their offense off the field, you know, with as many 3 and outs as possible at worst.
Yeah, the clock does start to become a factor here. Snap, gives straight ahead, room to run, drives forward, should be enough for a first down based on where the official's standing.
Yeah.
And it'll bring up first down. Yeah, you're right, because when you have struggled to score points like Plainfield has, and it's a 2-score game, that really limits your options because it's going to take you a while to get down the field. So working out of the gun.
And not only that, but, you know, though this is not the offensive juggernaut that a lot of the recent Decatur Central teams have been, they can run the ball well enough that they can still eat up a lot of the clock on their drives.
Well, that's what they're doing now.
Yeah.
They've got Polston back there working out of the gun. And I wouldn't be surprised, like as you said, Lekes, here we go. Yeah, it's going to be a handoff, little stutter step. Breaks one tackle, drives ahead, breaks another tackle, bouncing, still going, turns the corner. He's across midfield, and Plainfield missed about 3 tackles that time.
Yeah.
They had him in the backfield, and it's a huge gain across midfield by number 22, K.C. Berry. And I'll tell you what, Plainfield looking a little beat right now.
Yeah, I mean, you just hope that they just have something left in the tank that they're going to pull out, you know, some motivation, some inspiration, you know. Because, you know, right now they're simply not playing well enough. They're not, you know.
Pass, far side of the field. It is caught. Short gain of about 3 yards that time, down to the 45. Pulling it in on the far side of the field was number 11 that time, Farrell Carter. So short gain, second down coming up, 3 minutes, 10 seconds to go in the third.
Yeah, it looked like the receiver was expecting the ball further downfield, and he had to turn back to make the catch. So now in Decatur Central letting a lot of clock run off the play clock. It's down to 13 now.
Working out of the gun, snap, back to pass, steps up, throws, and it is, did he catch it? What a catch on the far side of the field, boy.
God.
Went up over a Plainfield defender to make the catch, all the way down inside the 30. I believe that was number 14 that time for Decatur Central, Desmond Coleman. And ball down to the 28, and now again, the wind is still in your face, so it would be about a 45-yard field goal with the wind in your face. Not the easiest thing to do, but obviously Decatur Central now fully in control of this possession.
Got to get them off the field here. Last time we did get an interception last time when we were in danger of going down by 3 possessions.
Snap, quarterback, keeper, far side of the field, flag flies in. That's going to be a hold, and it's a big gain, but it's coming back.
All right.
As that time, number 11 was the runner, Farrell Carter, and it is a hold against Decatur Central. So both of these teams have completely sabotaged drives here in the third quarter with untimely holding penalties. Decatur Central's done this about 3 times now, and Plainfield's done it once.
Yeah, and also Plainfield failed to take advantage of consecutive penalties, on the last possession of the first half. When we started off after the fair catch on the punt at the Decatur Central 45, then had the 15-yard penalty, then the 5-yard penalty to get it up to the 25, still came away with no points. So now it's 1st and 22. And keep in mind, before you feel comfortable about 1st and 22, Decatur Central converted a 1st and 33 earlier, in this quarter.
Yeah, so a little bit of a lifeline here for Plainfield to see if they can capitalize on it. Working out of the gun, snap, screen pass, caught, far side of the field, gets past the defender, and he gets almost all of that penalty back, all the way down to about the 29. Plainfield is just at times they've done a really good job policing the end, and then sometimes like that time they just let him go right around the end off that little screen pass. It's like they don't recognize, they keep running that play. It's very similar to, was it the Martinsville game where or not Martinsville,
Franklin.
Whiteland.
Oh, Whiteland, yeah.
They kept running that jet sweep, and it was like they didn't recognize they were just running the same play over and over again. Minute 58 to go. Snap, direct give ahead, drives forward, got arm tackled down at the 24. So it'll bring up a 3rd down and about 5. They need to get to just inside the 19. And again, with the wind in their face, probably a 4-down territory here for the Hawks if indeed they need it.
Yeah, and we gotta clamp down here. We gotta make a stop, and especially not let them have a touchdown. Preferably not any points at all.
Yep. Here we go. 3rd down and 6. Out of the gun. Snap. Pass. Incomplete.
Yes, he tripped. The receiver tripped.
Yeah, he went for a guy right there at the near the hash marks, or just outside the hash marks on the near side of the field, and it was an incomplete pass. And now decision time for Decatur Central. A field goal would make it a 13-0 ball game, so it would make it 2 touchdowns, although Plainfield's not much of a field goal kicking team. So probably factoring into the decision here with Decatur Central going for it on 4th down and 6.
Yeah, so this would be a 41-yard attempt, and I probably wouldn't go for it against the wind. With the wind, maybe.
Here we go. Out of the gun. 1 man in the backfield. And now a whistle and a timeout called by Decatur Central. So with 1:17 left to go in the third, Plainfield trails at 10-0. Decatur Central with the ball 4th and 6 from the 24-yard line.
Well, the window is closing. There were a couple of points in last week's game when I thought that, it was slipping away, yet we came back with a big play to turn it around. It still could happen tonight, but the thing is, last week at this point in the game, even though we were down, at least we had done a lot of good things offensively. Tonight, we have not done much good offensively, and I think the confidence of these guys is low. You go back to games 2 and 3, the first game against Harrison and then against Mooresville, and the offense looked like they were not playing with much confidence. Then starting the next week when we beat Perry Meridian, and then the next week we beat Greenwood, that started to change, and it was pretty good the rest of the season up into the playoff game last week at Harrison. Now it seems like it's back to those early games where the confidence is gone, and hopefully we can get it back while there's still time. Only 1:17 to go here in the third quarter. We have not scored yet. We trailed 10-0.
Yeah, big play coming up here for Plainfield. Again, with it being a 2-possession game, of the utmost importance, not only because you got to keep them out of the end zone, but you need to get the ball back because time is starting to become a big deal here. Here we go. Snap, back to pass. Has time. Throws, got a man off his hands.
All right.
Incomplete.
All right.
Incomplete on the far side of the field. Had a man open at the sticks, but it looked like he went up for the ball. It was out of his hands, and Plainfield defense stands tall again here in the third quarter.
So 1:13 to go in the third quarter. Plainfield takes over at their own 24, trailing 10-0. We got to get some offensive going. We've got to finish off a drive. We have not done that all game.
So Plainfield now, the offense back on the field, and man, if you're the Plainfield defense, you're be telling those guys, come on, man. We've done our part here tonight, holding this vaunted Decatur Central offense to just 10 points.
Yeah, I mean, and none after the first two possessions.
Yeah. Working out of the gun. Snap. Give. Straight ahead. And tripped up after a gain of about 3 that time. Was that, it was number 16, Larison, on the run that time.
Only his second rush of the game. He got 4 there.
Yeah, you probably got to get a little giddy up in your step here if you're Plainfield because the time is going to become a big deal because you're down 2 possessions.
51 seconds to go now and counting in the third quarter.
Working out of the gun. Snap. Back to pass. Steps. Got a man tipped, incomplete at the line of scrimmage. Had a man open. It was Isaiah Miller.
Miller, is a promising junior, has done some good things this season quietly, and undoubtedly going to be one of our top wide receivers next year as a senior. I believe that's the first ball that's even been thrown to him tonight, though. Newell has completed 5 of 12 passes. Now a very big 3rd and 6, 39.9 seconds to go in the third quarter. Come on, boys.
So here we go. 3rd down and long. Back to pass. Going to roll out. Gets a block. Has time. Throws. And it is incomplete on the near side of the field. The intended receiver that time was number 10, Grant Irwin. And
Newell is now incomplete on his last 7 passes.
they've got no answer on offense tonight. And I don't know if it's something Decatur Central has drawn up or Plainfield's inability to recognize it or what, but they have just not had anything going on, and it really drains your defense because this Decatur Central offense is just too good to keep making these stops. All right, here we go. They'll punt it away. Snap is clean. Gets it away. Good kick. High kick. It'll hit at the 40. It'll take a big bounce for Plainfield. Still going inside the 30. Great kick. And all the way down to the 25. So the one good thing out of that drive was they wrapped it up fast enough that they got to punt one final time with the wind at their back.
Yeah.
And they were able to flip the field again all the way down to the 25.
Well, Rob, when we commentated these two teams just 6 weeks ago back in week 6, the final score in overtime was 34-32. If you take away the overtime scores, 26-26, 52 points combined in regulation. Who would have believed that in the rematch through nearly 3 quarters there would only be 10 total points in the game?
Well, let's see here. 1 man wide to the left, 2 men to the right, working out of the shotgun. Snap is high, gives straight ahead, and he's going to be hit and dropped for a short gain, and I'm sure that will be the final play of the third quarter because they want to get that wind at their back. It will be. So 3 quarters in the books. It's 10-0. Plainfield trails Decatur Central. Let's take a moment to thank. Well, let's first of all take a moment to make sure they will not run another play. It looked like they were going to line up, and then no, nothing. So that'll be the end of the third quarter. Let's take a moment to thank the sponsors who made Plainfield football possible all year long. Here on Audio Sports Online, CCB Contracting, Geodis, Ganell Financial, Julia Burbrich of Remax Centerstone, Plainfield, Kyle Burnfield, mortgage lender at Flagstar Bank, Team Turley, Fairway Mortgage, Bailey & Wood Financial Group, African Plum Home, My IT Indy at myitindy.com, I-70 Wrecker Service and Garage, BGW Construction LLC, Beacon Sign Company, Jeff Brown Photography, and Karen Alexander Photography, and Whitlow's Towing. So Rob Kendall along with Lex Zorn, 3 quarters in the books. The good news, it's still close. The bad news is we're on the wrong side of the scoreboard. Plainfield trails at 10-0 against the Hawks of Decatur Central. And Decatur Central will have the ball 2nd down and 8 as we begin the fourth quarter. And we hope as it could be, this is not the final quarter of Brian Woodard's long and very great coaching career.
We certainly hope not. We certainly hope to be playing a week from tonight on the road, either at Franklin or more likely at Whiteland. I have not checked to see a score from that game yet, but yeah, we certainly hope that the Quakers will pull it out here. They've gotten virtually nothing going on offense all game. Noah Hessing has had a couple of good rushes, but Hunter Newell has completed only 5 of 13 passes and for only 36 yards.
Yeah, and if you're going to, now is the time, if you're going to pull something out of the hat, because time's getting short. Snap, screen pass, caught, tries to take it to the far side of the field, does get the corner, big hole, room to run, and like, you know they're high school kids and you know they're trying, but that has happened to them so many times tonight where they have run that screen pass and the guy on the outside of the field just lets the guy get around him.
Yeah, and of course now we've got an injury. This guy with a Troy Polamalu haircut is down there on the field. Hopefully he's sitting up. I cannot see his number from my vantage point, but hopefully this is not serious. You know, it's amazing through 11 seasons and 118 varsity games that I've commentated as few serious injuries as I've had. Probably one of the 2 or 3 worst was John Finch on the first play from scrimmage of the Mooresville game back in 2014. I mean, it was serious enough that on Senior Day, Senior Day 5 weeks later against Whiteland, he was still in a wheelchair. It was some kind of ankle or leg injury. The only injury I ever remember that looked scary at the time was in the 2013 playoffs when I was commentating Zionsville versus Cathedral down at Arsenal Tech in what was considered a home game for Cathedral. And Zionsville's quarterback, Josh Hinkle, went down in the game, and he was motionless on the field for about 20 minutes. It was a pretty scary sight. And although he recovered enough that he actually played college football for Manchester University after that, so apparently it wasn't quite as serious an injury as we feared it was at the time. But anyway, so the player, and I cannot see his number because of his hair is so darn long. So I apologize for that. But anyway, so now Decatur Central with the ball, 1st and 10 at the 41. 2 receivers now to the left, 1 to the right.
1st down and 10 coming up from the 41. Snap, give, drives towards the center of the field, not going anywhere that time. Nice job coming up to make the tackle in the backfield. Number 15, Alex Holzclaw, and they'll say he lost about 2 yards on the play.
That's good. You know, we'll take any loss we can get. And I think one thing that might have disrupted that play was that it was a high snap. It was nearly over his head. He had to jump up to get it.
And again, you've got to think these screen passes are what they're going to go to because they've been so successful running those all night. And if you're Plainfield, you've got to make some sort of adjustment to these screen passes.
Yeah, and there's not much time to make the adjustments, so.
Snap, there it is again, and he's got a bunch of room. Somebody's going to come up and make a hit, cuts it back. He's up near the 45 and pushed back to just keep running the same play. And they got lucky that time that he didn't look like the receiver that time was number 1, Taquan Taylor. He had room, but it looked like he didn't quite have the motor in his step and was not able to get it to the outside. So now a big 3rd down, ball to 45. They need to get across midfield to the 49.
10:46 to go in the 4th quarter. We're trailing 10-0. We got to get them off the field here on 3rd and 6. Come on, boys. Make the play of your lives here. This is for all the marbles.
Out of the gun, snap, pass, and it is picked up on the first.
Oh my God!
He has 30, yes! 20, 15, 10, 5.
Yes,
touchdown!
we got it! All right! Oh my God!
Number 10 for Plainfield.
Grant Irwin!
Grant Irwin with a touchdown. How about that? And just like that, it's 10-6. 10:24 to go in the ball game.
Oh my God! Yeah, Grant Irwin last week, 3 touchdown passes as a receiver. Now tonight, 1 touchdown on 1 touchdown on 1 touchdown on an interception return. 10-24 to go in the ball game. 10-6 So 4 touchdowns in the regular season in 9 games. Now 4 touchdowns in 2 playoff games, and Cameron Grimes on the extra point.
Big one coming up here. Snap, spot, kick is up, and the kick is good. Hammered it. No good. What? Oh, no.
Well, that means that if we get the ball back, that we can't tie with a field goal. But now we got some momentum going, though.
So he missed the extra. I'm terrible at these, Leck. I mean, that looked like it was through the uprights. I should totally never be an official.
Well, the thing is, there's such an optic illusion from this angle. That's the thing on field goals. That's why I never call a field goal good. I always wait for the referee to make the signal before I say any more.
We are in what would be we're normally in the center of the press box. We are in the north end of the press box, the north end of the press box tonight. The kick was to the south end, and I'll tell you what, that looked like it was right through the uprights. So that's like, yeah, I'm done making calls. So the problem with that now is obviously a field goal would not tie the game, but you needed 2 scores and you got one of them, and the offense never had to take the field. So
No extra points?
They missed it. So anyway, certainly things looking better than they did a couple of minutes ago here. So Grant Irwin doing it on both sides. 4 touchdowns in the regular season. Now 4 touchdowns in the playoffs. His dad told me tonight that he's gotten offers from Taylor University and Manchester University. I have a feeling a lot more are coming soon.
So a little life in the Quakers as they find themselves down by 4, 10-6, 10:24 left to play in the ball game.
And by the way, that was the first score in more than 2.5 quarters.
It's a squib kick, and it's a live ball, and it's going to go out of bounds. And I don't know why if that was intentional or that was. So Decatur Central is going to get the ball with great field position. I don't know. Coach Woodard said a couple of weeks ago that the bad kicks or the squib kicks or whatever were not intentional.
Right,
so,
right, yeah.
So you don't know if that was just an unintentional bad kick or if that was intended to try to get the ball back. But either way, it's now great field position. Maybe the thought was it's into the wind. We haven't kicked very well. Let's try to catch them offsides or off guard. I don't know. But the ball's the 40, and here come Decatur Central. So the Plainfield defense will be asked to step up again.
And now that Polston's thrown 2 interceptions, maybe we're getting into his head a little bit.
Well, let's see what happens. Here come the Hawks out of the gun. Snap, screen pass, and he is going to be hit and dropped after a gain of about a yard. Nice job that time by Plainfield closing in as he tried to get to the corner as they've done all night, but ran out of real estate because it was too close to the sideline that time.
And he also slipped a little bit when he made the catch. He then regained his footing, but it gave our guys time to get over to him.
10 minutes left to go in the ball game. Ball's at the 41, 2nd down and 9.
We're in this.
Snap, give, straight ahead, bounces off one tackle, tries to drive
Come
forward.
on, stop him.
Host of Quakers in there to wrap him up, and the ball's down to gets up to the 42, maybe a gain of a yard on the play.
All right, so now 3rd and about. See, where do they mark it? So they mark it at the 3rd and 7 now.
And now, wait a second.
Oh, wait.
I think we got a penalty. They're
All
moving
right.
it back, so
All
maybe
right.
a hold. Yeah, it is a hold or a block in the back. I couldn't see exactly what the signal was there, but it's going to move them back to the 31. So now a 2nd and 19 versus a 3rd and 7.
All right.
So again, you would think they would try to go maybe with those screen passes that have worked so well all night and try to get to the corner. A lot of pressure on these Plainfield defenders. Yep. Back to pass, throwing it up, and it is incomplete.
Yeah.
Maybe get rid of that quick. I don't think that was designed. I think getting in there on the play for Plainfield, a host of Quakers in there, but I believe That was number 53, Croy Teamer.
Yeah, that's I think that's the closest we've gotten to sacking him tonight.
And he just had to fire it up into the stands. And I like that. That added pressure has seemed to work well.
Yeah.
And so now, with 9:15 to go, Plainfield has Decatur Central in a 3rd and 19. They got to get to midfield to pick up the first down. Plainfield crowd coming to their feet. Decatur Central works out of the gun. Snap. Rolling to the right side. Rolling, throwing on the run. It is incomplete.
Yes.
And it'll fall harmlessly out of bounds on the near side of the field. The intended receiver that time for Decatur Central was number 14. That's Desmond Coleman.
And Decatur Central now has not scored in more than 2.5 quarters worth of action. So maybe their confidence, especially since they've thrown 2 interceptions in that time, 1 return for a touchdown, maybe their offense is starting to, maybe their confidence is getting shaken on offense. But now Plainfield, their defense has, helped us out. Now the offense has to live up to its end of the bargain. And now we got a whistle here on the punt. 9:10 to go. So for those of you just joining us, it's been a very tense game full of missed opportunities by both teams. And now it's another penalty against Decatur Central. Boy, now would be a good time for another blocked kick. We've had at least 5 this season that I remember. One of which set up a touchdown at Harrison back in week 2. This would be a great time for another one.
Snap. Kick is clean. It's a high end over end kick. It'll hit at the 40. It'll take a Decatur Plainfield bounce.
All right.
And it'll be down at the Plainfield 45. So despite having the wind at their back, not a great punt that time. The bounce didn't help. And Plainfield has a chance for the first time in a very long time, since they're really the second or third drive of the ball game for them, to take the lead as they trail at 10-6, 9:01 to go. They have the ball at their own 45.
Now let's see how they respond to this. Come on, boys.
2 receivers wide to the right.
This is the time.
Nobody to the left. Newell works out of the gun. Plainfield moving from left to right. Snap. Back to pass. Steps up. Throws. Got a man caught.
Grant
Cross
Irwin.
midfield. Grant
He's got
Irwin.
the first.
And a first down, as you said, Leck, across the 45, down to about the 44-yard line.
So that broke a streak of 7 consecutive incomplete passes for Newell and gave Grant Irwin, after 3 touchdowns last week on receptions, his first reception tonight.
Again, out of the gun, 1 man in the backfield. Snap, give, straight ahead, and gain of about 4 or 5, it looked like that time on first down.
I believe that was Hessing again with a decent rush. And now we've got a Quaker injured. I think it's Hessing, actually. Boy, that'd be a very terrible loss if he's out of the game. He gets credit for 3 on the rush. I think that's him. I can't tell for sure from my vantage point. But anyway, for those of you just joining us, we're in the 4th quarter, 8:30 to go. Your score, Decatur Central 10, Plainfield 6. Decatur Central scored on its first 2 possessions. Then there was no scoring again until the 4th quarter when Grant Irwin, the hero of last week, intercepted a pass, returned it for a touchdown. The extra point was no good, and that brought us to a current score of 10-6. Now after a Decatur Central punt, Plainfield has the ball 2nd and 7 at the Decatur Central 41. They have all 3 timeouts left. An injured Quaker is on the field, lying down now. I believe it's Noah Hessing, who's been our primary rusher tonight.
Yeah, and it looks like they're working the leg, maybe somewhere in the area of a cramp. I know the weather, I guess, is still probably maybe inclined for that to be taking place. It looks like they are working his leg, and the fact that they're putting, and he is bending his knee, and now it looks like he is going to get up, so that's good. Hopefully it was just a cramp. He's shaking it off. He's walking off under his own power, so that is a very good sign. Hopefully he'll be able to get back in the game. Now, yeah, and it was Noah Hessong, so here we go. Back in the ball game now is Troy Larison, as Hessong has to come out for a play. 8:30 left to go in the ball game. And again, very much looking like as they hand him a water bottle that it could be a cramp. So clock begins to wind. Newell works out of the gun. Snap, give, straight ahead. Larison runs into a pile and is pushed back. Picked up about 3 yards that time. They'll move it down. Now they'll say 2. Gain them about 2. Ball to the 39. They need to get just past the 35 here on 3rd down.
Very big 3rd down. I mean, you know, I know we're in 4-down territory, but we don't want to have to rely on converting a 4th down.
Yep. So here we go. Newell out of the gun. 2 receivers to the right, 1 man to the left. Snap. Back to pass. Steps up. Throwing down the far side of the field. A flag flies in. That's going to be either a hold or pass interference on the far side of the field.
Oh.
And that's got to be against Decatur Central. They were a whole lot of contact preventing the Plainfield receiver from running the route.
And if it is against Decatur,
Pass interference. That's
yes,
big, 'cause
yes.
that's a 15. It's not a spot of the foul, unlike in the pros.
Right.
That is a 15-yard penalty. A holding would have been 10. So big, not only does it give it the 1st down, but an extra 5 yards. Boy, this is a game where you just feel like you could have been down 3 or 4 scores at halftime.
Yeah.
And even being in this contest, you just feel real fortunate. And Plainfield now with an opportunity, the ball at the 25-yard line, to potentially take the lead in this football game, which seems unbelievable.
It does, yeah. I think Noah's back in now.
Yeah, snap, there it is. It is to Hessong. He drives forward. He's got room up the middle, and he will grind forward. His teammates pushing, and he picked up about 2, maybe 2.5 yards on 1st down. So you're obviously in 4-down territory. Plainfield still with all 3 timeouts left. And field goal really does you no good at this point. And given the problems Plainfield has had kicking the ball anyway, I doubt that they would try one. Certainly not from this distance.
Yeah, you know, I wish there were more Hagee brothers. I wish we had as many Hagees here in Plainfield as Decatur Central had Tracy's.
Yeah, working out of the gun now is Newell. 2 receivers to the right, 1 man to the left. And now whistle and movement. I think that's going to be on Decatur Central up front. I think they were in the neutral zone. And so that'll be 5 yards in favor of Plainfield.
And boy, Decatur Central has just been self-destructing with penalties here in the second half.
Well, and you know, in the first half, they had that personal foul penalty that cost them 15. Plainfield couldn't ultimately capitalize. So they've had, you're right, like quite a few penalties here tonight that have really hurt this team. And now it'll bring up it goes from a 2nd and 8 to a 2nd and 3 from the 22-yard line. I'm sorry, the 17-yard line.
All right, in the red zone now. Come on, boys.
Snap, give, Hessong, 1st down. At least he should have the 1st down. Yeah, 1st down, and that'll get to about the 14, which is good enough.
And, you know, a 7:02 to go, and the clock will stop to move the chains. And now I'm starting to, you know, wonder if maybe if Plainfield were to take off 2 or 3 more minutes and score, if that might be the best thing to give Decatur Central less time. But, you know, we'll see.
6:50 and counting. Clock winding.
I'm not taking anything for granted, though. We got to get the touchdown. That's all there is to it.
Still a long way to go in this game. Still a long way to go in this drive. Working out of the gun. Newell. And now all sorts of movement up front.
And Decatur Central seems to think it's against them. I saw one of the, oh, maybe, oh, no, it's against, oh, this guy, the body language of one of the Decatur Central guys, I thought he was basically, you know, mad, but, you know, maybe he was celebrating, or maybe he mistakenly thought it was against his team. But, all right, well, anyway, still in good shape here.
It has been, by both teams, a pretty sloppy played football game, and that could have a big outcome, could have a big impact on the outcome.
Come on, boys.
Out of the gun, Newell, snap, back to pass, steps up. He is going to run.
Come on, get rid of it. Oh,
and he
my.
fumbled the ball.
Oh, no.
And Decatur Central has it back.
Oh, my God. You know, he needed to get rid of it. And, you know, Hunter Newell, he's gotten progressively better throughout the season at getting rid of the ball, but that time he didn't. And now the defense, you know, we got to do no worse than a 3-and-out. We got to make them punt, you know, from deep. Because if we let him even have a couple of first downs, then that can go a long way toward running out the rest of the game. 6:29 to go. Decatur Central taking over with a 10-6 lead. 1st and 10 at their own 24.
Yeah, that's just so disheartening because you have that stupid unforced penalty and then fumble the football, and it's just seems like that has happened just all night long to Plainfield. Snap, there's the quarterback keeper, and he'll drive ahead, gain of about 5, maybe 6 yards on 1st down. They'll put him up at the 31. He needs to get to the 34, so I guess they'll say 7. And now clock becomes an issue if you're Plainfield because, well, I mean, you got all 3 timeouts, but you're inside. You're going to be well inside of 6 minutes by the time this ball is snapped, and Decatur Central's only a couple of first downs. Look, you gotta really take some risk here. Get everybody up on that box. Try to do something to make a play.
Yeah, maybe blitz him. Force him to get rid of the ball before he wants to.
Yeah,
all right.
They did it. They got him. They wrapped him up. Great play that time in the backfield. I believe that was number 59, Isaac Mascalaire.
Something like that. Yeah.
Well, you're the language expert.
I know, but even that's a tough one. But yeah, I think I figured it's Masquilier or something like that, but I really don't know. I'll have to ask Coach Woodard about that.
Isaac made a nice tackle there.
Yeah,
third down and 5. Ball's at the 29. They need the 34. And again, first down is a killer here. It doesn't really matter how much past the first down. So I would think you'd put more people up there. Snap, back to pass. Steps up. He's going down the field. He pushed off. How did they miss that? No pass, offensive pass interference. He shoved the guy forward and was wide open. And that is what on the sideline, the Plainfield defender, number 10, Grant Irwin, is pleading his case to that official. Hulk Hogan would have been jealous of that maneuver.
Well, now.
Oh man.
Now Decatur Central has it in Plainfield territory at the 46. 4:49 to go and counting. 22 on the play clock. Plainfield still with all 3 timeouts left, trailing by 4. Trailing by 4.
Yeah, but I mean, you got to come up, you got to do something here, and you got to think they're going to run the football here. Snap is high, and he's got some room to run on the quarterback keeper. He's tripped up after a gain of about 3, and now we'll see what Plainfield elects to do in terms of the timeouts, because obviously with each play they put 40 seconds up on the clock. And so basically, depending on how it all shakes out, Decatur Central is probably 2 first downs away from winning this football game, maybe 3.
Yeah, it's starting to get tense here. 4:06 to go and counting, 2nd and 7. Now, one thing is, I wonder if Decatur Central will just do strictly, rushing plays.
Well, you'd have to almost think you would here because Plainfield has not proven they can score any points.
Right.
Snapman, as soon as we say that, they run a screen pass, and he is hit and dropped at about the 41. So a gain of
about 2.
So another 3rd and 5. The clock is still moving. Plainfield will not use their timeout yet. They have all 3. Decatur Central with 2. And let's see if Plainfield can get off the field. Once again, they've done a great job tonight, the defense has, of keeping this team in the ball game despite almost no performance from the offense. And really, they haven't had any performance in terms of points.
Right.
You got to get – they are way too deep on these receivers right now. And the give is straight ahead, and he is going to be hit, and he is going to be pulled back, and he's going to be stopped short at the 39-yard line. He's about 3 yards short, and decision time now for Decatur Central.
Yeah, 2:54 to go and counting. It'll be about 4th and 3 at the Plainfield 39. Do they try to, pin Plainfield down deep into their own territory, having not scored any offensive points all game?
Well, that's the interesting call here, right, is because on one hand, you don't fear the Plainfield offense. On the other hand, if you can pin them deep, they got it forever to go. We'll see right here. Here we go.
Come on, boys, make the play of your lives.
Will they even run a play? I don't think they're going to run a play. I think they're going to let the clock wind down. They're going to burn a timeout. So 2:21 will be on the play clock, and Decatur Central will spend a timeout on the game clock. I'm sorry. Decatur Central will spend a timeout, and I think they took a delay of game. So they intended to punt the ball, and so they took a delay of game instead of a timeout. So obviously that it was their intent, and they thought with the wind at their back, it doesn't much matter if we can draw them off sides.
Okay.
All right.
I see what you mean, yeah.
So for Plainfield, all options on the table here. You got 3 timeouts and 2:20 to go in the ball game, and back to receive the kick is Noah Hessong, standing at his own 10-yard line.
Come on, boys, go for the block.
Well, now you would assume this is a punt formation. Yes, now the quarterback does move back into a more punt-like position, even though he was kind of under center. And he will get the kick away. It's a short kick. Hessong should be able to field this, but he will let it go into the end zone. And so it wasn't much of a result there. You might as well have gone for it if that's what you were going to do, because Plainville will now get the ball moved all the way out to the 20-yard line.
All right, so we got 2 minutes and 13 seconds. And now apparently there was some kind of penalty, because it looks like the well, maybe. I'm trying to figure out what the official is doing there. He started walking up, and now he's standing between the 30 and the 35.
Well, they're talking to Brian Woodard here on the near sideline, so you would tend to think the penalty is against Decatur Central.
Yeah.
It is an illegal shift,
Okay.
and that is declined because Brian Woodard saying, hey, we get the ball at the 20-yard line. We're probably not going to do much better than that. Let's just take the ball and let's take our chances. Yeah, too many things could go wrong there if you make them kick it again, and the fact that they didn't get you inside the 10.
Yeah.
You've got room to operate. You got 3 timeouts. Your season's on the line. Let's go.
80 yards they have 2:13 to go, 80 yards and get a touchdown. They trail by 4, 10-6.
You know, if you've got some sort of play in your back pocket that you have been saving all year, now might be a time to try that. That's some great coaching insight there.
Yes.
You're welcome. All right, here we go. Newell out of the gun. Snap, back to pass, steps up, throws. He has got a man, and it is incomplete on the near side of the field. That ball, the intended receiver that time is Grant Irwin. That ball took forever to get to Grant Irwin, and they're lucky it wasn't intercepted.
Yeah. So now a 2nd and 10. They only lost 4 seconds on that play, but they've got to get some yards.
Well, you've just got to think of it in terms of first downs right now. I mean, you got all your timeouts, so the time is not that big of a deal. You've got to pick up the first downs, though.
Yes.
I mean, you got to run your best plays here. If your best play is a run play, then I say you'd still do that. Snap, back to pass, steps up, throws, got a man caught, and he will turn the corner.
No.
But unfortunately, he's taken down inbounds. The receiver that time was number 9, Chris Stevens. So he did catch the ball, did get positive yardage, and now if you're Plainfield, they're going to let the clock run. I'm surprised they didn't burn a timeout there, because every play you got to be kind of on board. But they're going to let it go. All right, here we go. Working out of the gun is Newell. Minute 40. Snap, back to pass, steps up, throws. It is caught. That's enough for a first down, and a flag flies in late. And this could be big, because if it's a pass interference, that's a lot more than just the 5 or 6 yards they got on the reception that time. Grant Irwin did pick up the first down.
Yeah, I thought he might have grabbed Grant's face mask while taking him down.
Yeah, the great eyes there, Leck.
But yeah, that'd be good if it would. That'd move us from about the 32 to the 47.
Pass interference is
the
call, so they will take the pass interference rather than the play itself. So a 5-ish, 6-ish yard gain turns into a 15-yard gain, and that will move it all the way up to the 43 with a minute 36 to go in the ball game.
So 57 yards now, 1 minute and 36 seconds to go, 57 yards and get the touchdown to win.
Working out of the gun is Newell. 2 receivers to the left, 2 men to the right. Snap back to pass. Steps up. He's going to be hit. Gets away with it. He's got a man caught on the sideline, and it is out of bounds. Grant Irwin.
Yeah.
Nice job by Newell that time. They were coming from behind. He took a hit, but he was able to get rid of the football and get out of bounds. So a gain of about 5 yards on first down.
So Grant Irwin's second reception. He also he got our only points tonight on an interception return after getting 3 receiving touchdowns last week.
So out of the gun, Newell taking his time because the clock is not running as the player got out of bounds.
2nd and 5 at our own 48.
Line's got to block. Got to give him some time here. Working out of the gun. Snap. Rolling to the left side. Rolling, throwing, and it's incomplete. And that was
he was under pressure there. He at least got rid of it. So now 3rd and 5 with 1:25 to go. We still have all 3 timeouts left. We got to get the first down.
Well, that's the thing. Like, you've got all 3 timeouts left. I wouldn't have been inclined there maybe to even run a play. They're looking for the pass. If you can pick up a first down, you've got tons of time because you've got all your timeouts left.
Yeah.
But this is a big play here because it's 3rd down.
All right, so Hessling, the running back, 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Hunter Newell in shotgun, 14 on the play clock.
Three receivers to the right. Out of the gun. Snap. No play action. Throws. Got to make caught. And he's on his feet. Still going. And it's a first down across the 45-yard line. Great run that time by number 3, Isaiah Miller.
Finally, Isaiah with his first pass of the game, his first reception of the game, excuse me.
Yeah, perfect job that time. Got the catch. Got the first down. Stayed on his feet. And most importantly, got out of bounds with 1:19 to go.
So Miller's first reception of the game comes at the ideal time. 40 yards now away from the winning touchdown. 1:19 to go.
Yeah, you've got your entire playbook at your disposal here because of those timeouts.
Yes.
Working out of the gun, and now
Decatur Central takes a timeout.
Decatur Central will take a timeout. So you've got 1:19 to go. Plainfield down by 4.
So for those of you just joining us, it's been a very sloppy, very tense game of missed opportunities by both teams. But as it stands now, with 1:19 to go in the fourth quarter, your score Decatur Central 10, Plainfield 6. The only Quaker points coming on, an interception by Grant Irwin early in the fourth quarter. Now the Quakers have the ball first and 10 at the Decatur Central 40. Still all 3 timeouts, so a full range of options.
And the Hawks down to 1 timeout. So if by chance Plainfield can put the ball into the end zone, that will really limit the Hawks' ability to get down the field with only 1 timeout left. But obviously all eyes right now on getting this ball into the end zone for Plainfield. Again, they've got all 3 timeouts left, so you've got every play at your disposal, including, again, if it's a run, because you're just trying to pick up yardage here because you've got to get to the end zone. 3 receivers wide to the left, 2 men to the right. Newell's going to work out of the gun. Snap. Back to pass. Steps up. Screen play. Got a man caught. He's across the 40. Drives ahead down near the 35, inside the 35. And let's see if Plainfield will spend a timeout. They are not going to. They're going to keep running plays. I'm a little surprised by that. And the fans are getting a little restless on that too. The Plainfield, again, this is not the NFL. And now finally they're going to spend a timeout, but they wasted all sorts of time there.
Oh, God. Yeah, you're right.
They let a good 10 seconds run off this clock before burning that timeout.
That's definitely a fundamental error there.
I mean, it's fine. If you were going to run that play, that's great. Like we talked about, you got your whole playbook at your disposal. But if you got to kind of have it in your mind there that if we don't get out of bounds, I'm going to call a timeout, and they didn't do that. And again, it's just a totally different animal from certainly the National Football League.
Right.
These guys can run highly skilled plays in 10 seconds worth of time, so the timeouts aren't nearly as big. But here, now you've kind of, not only did you burn those 10 seconds, but you had to burn a timeout.
Absolutely, yeah. So definitely bad clock management there. Hopefully it will not cost us the game. So it probably won't, but still, you just want to execute, good fundamentals at all times under all circumstances. So when we return, it'll be 2nd and 5, Plainfield at the Decatur Central 35, trailing 10-6 with 58 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. Come on, boys. Play the best football of your lives right here. This is what you've been playing for since youth football in 3rd or 4th grade.
So out of the gun is Newell. Hessung in the backfield. 2 receivers going wide to the right side of the field. Snap. Play action. Rolling, throwing. He's got a man. It's caught.
Come on, get out of bounds, Grant. I couldn't tell if he did.
He did not get out of bounds. And now the clock is going to continue to run. And again, they're not going to use a timeout. And
he actually lost a couple of yards there.
Boy, this is just really, the clock's moving. They're not calling timeouts. The clock is winding. 30 seconds to go. 29 seconds to go. Throwing down the field. It's up, and it is incomplete.
This is just. I know we did get a flag there. We got a flag.
Yeah, but who knows what it is? It's in the area of a hold. Probably going to be against Plainfield would be my guess.
Boy, if it's against Decatur Central, it's an extremely lucky break for the Quakers.
Face mask, the call. Oh boy, it's a face mask against Decatur Central.
Oh my God, that's a huge luck.
So let's reset what happened there. There's 24 seconds now to go in the ball game. The pass was incomplete, and a face mask against Decatur Central has totally revived this drive. Is that the correct phrase? Anyway,
Yeah.
ball's at the 22-yard line now.
Still 2 timeouts.
Still 2 timeouts left. 24 seconds left to go. Snap, back to pass, steps up, throws, got a man caught. He's to the 10 and out of bounds.
All right, that was Grant Irwin again.
Irwin with the catch. They'll put him down. I'm sorry, I said the 10. They're going to put him out at the 13. It's a little hard for us to see. We've got blocked out here by the part of the press box. So he is going to be about a yard short of the first down. And so you've got
19.6 seconds to go.
yeah, both your timeouts. Every play at your disposal. The clock will stop if you pick up a first down.
Yeah. Come on, boys.
Out of the gun. Snap, back to pass, steps up. He's going to run with it. He's got room. Run! Throwing to the end zone. Incomplete. He was wide open, and he could have run it, and he decided not to. I don't know why he didn't run with the ball there. He had forever to go with the football, and he elected to throw it instead.
Oh, man.
Man, I don't know if he could have got to the end zone.
He
He certainly could have got real close.
Yeah, he certainly would have gotten well within the 10, and the clock would have stopped to move the chains, and we would have still had the 2 timeouts.
Boy, that was. So now it is 3rd down and 1. You've got to get a first down here.
Yeah.
You've almost got to do whatever play is your best play to get a first down. Snap, back to pass. Steps up, looking. Can't take a sack. And he took a sack.
Governor got to get the timeout.
And now Brian Woodard will spend a timeout. And the season's going to come down to this last play.
Oh, my God. And if Plainfield loses, I mean, they will have given the game away with just, very poor clock management on this last drive. Very, very poor.
Yeah, and it's just, you've got to get the first down. You've got 24 seconds.
Yeah.
You get the first down. You burn a timeout. Then you got a fresh set of downs. So you take, basically 3 cracks at the end zone. And now here, you've got to get it to the end zone. The first down doesn't do you any good because there's a good chance you'll run out of time.
Yeah, and the other team's going to, be ready. All Decatur Central's going to have to do is just stop you from getting the touchdown. So,
I mean, theoretically, again, if you're a high-level college or the NFL, you've got a 4-second play in your, vernacular. But I'm sure in high school they don't, even, the most upper level of high school. But, so here we go. It's not how, it's how many, and Plainfield has a chance to win this ball game. It comes down to one play. 4th down and 7, 6.3 seconds left to go.
Come on, boys. Make the best play of your lives right here.
You can't take a sack. 3 receivers to the left, 1 man to the right, a man in the backfield. Working out of the gun is Newell. Snap, back to pass, steps up, throw into the end zone, and it is open! And he got it! He got it! He got it! Touchdown! 1.3 seconds to go! Touchdown, Plainfield!
Oh, my God.
What a catch! Was it Grant Irwin who caught it?
Oh. I don't know.
What a catch in the end zone.
Oh, my God.
Plainfield is going to win it at the buzzer. There is still 1.3 seconds to go. What
Oh, my God. I can't believe it.
an end to this ball game. And it looks like after all these years, Brian Woodard is finally going to get that sectional championship.
After we tried to give it away about a dozen times, we still snatched victory from the eyes of defeat as long as they don't make this. As long as they don't make this. As long as Decatur Central doesn't make a miracle kickoff return for a touchdown.
Out of the snap, the spot, the kick is up, and the kick is.
And we got
good.
a flag. We got a flag.
And a flag flies in late. That may have been offsides on Decatur Central. And wow, what an end to the ball game.
My God.
He was wide open in the corner of the end zone. And I believe, again, that was number 10, Grant Irwin. There was a huge pile of bodies there at the end of that play. and we are somewhat blocked out by the press box. I'm sure that was about the longest 3 or 4 seconds in Grant Irwin's life, as that ball was just hovering in the air. Who was it?
Noah Hessing.
Noah Hessong. Okay, very good. The ball, it was like something, in the movies where something is hovering in slow motion. 'Cause
Yeah.
he was so wide open.
Well, Hunter Newell redeemed himself, right there, and wow, unbelievable. So now we still don't go anywhere yet. We still got a kickoff. Fans are leaving here. Decatur Central's pulled a few rabbits of its own out of a hat over the years.
Wow. What an incredible end to this ball game. It was a game that after the first 2 possessions you thought could be a blowout for Decatur Central. Plainfield hung in there. They had a lot of big mistakes, but man, closing it at the end, and what a pass. You couldn't have drawn it up any better, as Plainfield has a 13-10 lead over the Hawks of Decatur Central, and we may be broadcasting from the regional next week, which is just awesome. Good job for Brian Woodard. So I think it was a personal foul penalty on Decatur Central. So that will move the ball all the way to the 45-yard line of Decatur Central, where we will kick off from. And so 1.3 seconds left. Decatur Central with 1 timeout left. Not that that's going to matter at this point. And we are just a kickoff, maybe 1 final play away from going to the regionals.
And I imagine that they'll probably down the kickoff rather than return it and then try to set up a Hail Mary or maybe a series of laterals, but we'll see.
Cameron Grimes with the kickoff. It's a squib kick. It'll bounce, and it will be taken at the 2-yard line. He's to the 5. Tries to take to the corner to the 10. Tries to throw it back across field. He's got a man. They better get back there. He's taking it back to the far side of the field. Block, flag flies. This game's over. That's going to be a penalty on Decatur Central. The ball is still live. They're still moving. The play, it doesn't matter. That was an illegal block. He's still going. Flips it back. Play is still alive. He's hit it. He is crushed.
Oh, yes.
What a crushing tackle to end the game. Number 14, Maddox
God.
Holtzclaw with the bone-crushing hit. And he said, I've had enough of that. And Leck, after 15 years of broadcasting Plainfield football, they're going to the regional.
Yeah, we are. And, oh, my God, Coach Woodard, he's had so many close losses over the years, so many heartbreaks. They've lost to Decatur Central 4 of the last 7 years in the playoffs, including a couple of very painful losses. And, 17 years, he lost 6 sectional championship games, a couple in particularly heartbreaking fashion. He kept on persevering. We were about to throw in the towel several times on that last drive, including when Hunter Newell just needed 1 yard to get the first down, bypassed it through an ill-advised pass in the end zone. Then he got sacked on the next play. But finally, with 1 play to go, he found Noah Hessing in the corner of the end zone, and that was it.
All right, let's again thank the fabulous sponsors who have made broadcast all possible all year long on Audio Sports Online. CCB Contracting, Geodis, Ganell Financial, Julia Burbridge of Remax Centerstone Plainfield, Kyle Burnfield, Mortgage Lender at Flagstar Bank, Team Turley, Fairway Mortgage, Bailey and Wood Financial Group, African Plum Home, MyITIndy at MyITIndy.com, I-70 Wrecker Service and Garage, BGW Construction LLC, Beacon Sign Company, Jeff Brown Photography, Karen Alexander Photography, and Whitlow's Towing. So we do not know yet who Plainfield will play.
Let me check just.
And we do know that we will have a regional broadcast for you Friday evening here on AudioSportsOnline.com. Of course, we will have the Brian Woodard Show for you coming up. We usually try to have that available for you by Sunday afternoon here on Audio Sports Online. So, again, Plainfield taking it tonight in dramatic fashion. Essentially the final play of the game, 13-10.
One final note. I was just informed that we don't have a final yet, but Whiteland was leading Franklin 17-0. We knew coming in that we were going to play on the road if we won tonight. So we will likely be at Franklin.
At Whiteland.
We will likely be at Whiteland 1 week from tonight, barring a major comeback, in which case we'll be at Franklin. So check your listings, but assume that most likely we will be at Whiteland, trying to avenge the 45-14 loss that they gave to us back in Week 8 on Senior Day.
All right. Well, we'll let you know all of that this Sunday when we have the Brian Woodard Show up and available for you. But for tonight, what we do know is Plainfield moves to 6-5. It is career win number 98 for Brian Woodard, his first sectional championship. all these great years at Plainfield, was never able to do it, finally does it. Nobody more deserving than him. Lek, final thoughts.
Well, I'll tell you, this was not one of Coach Woodard's 3 or 4 best teams, and this certainly was not one of the 3 or 4 best games that his team has ever played. But, you go back when Peyton Manning won that Super Bowl with Denver in his in his farewell season when he had the worst season of his career. What I said, the football gods owed him a few favors, and I think, so many times when I've commentated Plainfield's playoff losses over the years, I said that someday the football gods would give a favor to Coach Woodard, and it finally happened tonight on that miraculous touchdown with 1.3 seconds left when Hunter Newell connected with Noah Hessing in the back of the end zone. In that 19-yard pass after Plainfield had threatened to give it away about 4 or 5 times on that possession. We came through when it counted most. And also kudos to Grant Irwin after the 3 touchdown receptions last week, the interception return for a touchdown tonight that put us in position to win there at the end.
Yeah, so that's going to do it for us tonight. I just got to see Coach's wife there giving the big thumbs up. I know she's thrilled. She's been such a huge supporter and part of what he's done all these years. His son Blake was here tonight, obviously played at Plainfield. So congratulations to all the kids on the Plainfield football team. Congratulations to Coach Woodard. And congratulations to us, Lek. 15 years
Yes.
here. We finally get to do a regional. Let's go!
Yeah, and I'll tell you, next week, whether it's at Franklin or more likely out Whiteland, we're going to go in as heavy underdogs. But, we're playing with house money. And, I'm not going to put any limits on these kids. If they play with the heart they did on that, game-winning play tonight, and the ball bounces our way a few times, you never know what's going to happen. So, let's just go out next week and just play the game of our lives, so that win or lose, we'll walk off the field with our heads up high, knowing that we did our best and that we sent Coach Woodard off a sectional champion.
All right, that's going to do it for us tonight. Again, thank you for joining us. The Plainfield Quakers win it 13-10 against the Decatur Central Hawks. Plainfield moves to 6-5. They are your sectional champions. Congratulations to the Plainfield football team. Congratulations to Coach Woodard. For Lek Zorn, I'm Rob Kendall. Have yourself a great evening.
Good night.